Pistol formation for Shaquille Hunter, the senior quarterback, looking to throw. Heaves it into the end zone. The ball is battled for, batted up in the air. It is caught! It is caught by Junction City!
High school football teams in Arkansas have one goal in mind before the first snap of the season: to get to the Rock.
Three backs in the backfield, play action fake. Runyon looking near side for Ransom. He's got it at the 5. Touchdown, Lake Hamilton. He beat single coverage down at the 5-yard line, caught it, backpedaling, dove into the end zone, and the Wolves jump ahead 6-0 with 7:17 to play first quarter. On fourth down from the 15, slant pattern, caught, breaks the tackle, 5, touchdown, Dalton Daniels. And on first down, Essner hit up in the hole and buried at the line of scrimmage. Oh my goodness, what a hit by the linebacker, Patrick Swayze.
It's been the pace that we like to play, but, it is what it is, and, we've got to play the game.
We got to go score here and try to make something happen. Anything can happen in this ball game. We get a little momentum going, we can score.
Going back to the left, he's got it, touchdown, Fayetteville! Fayetteville wins! Fayetteville storms the field and wins the 7A state title game!
It's time for the Arkansas Activities Association 4A State Championship game, driven by Fletcher Kia on the Buzz Radio Network. Tonight, the Warren Lumberjacks take on the Boonville Bearcats for the right to be crowned champion of 4A football in the state of Arkansas. This broadcast is made possible by Fletcher Kia, Baptist Health, Audio Express, Farm Bureau Insurance in White County, the Arkansas Activities Association, and the Buzz Radio Network. Live from War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, here are Bob White, Trey Schapp, and R.J. Hawk reporting from the sideline.
Good evening and welcome to championship football tonight here at War Memorial Stadium. The 4A championship matchup between the Warren Lumberjacks and the Boonville Bearcats. Bo Embry brings his football team into tonight's championship game with a record of 10-3. They represent the 8-4A conference. The Boonville Bearcats, after a big road victory last Friday night, they had over 500 total yards of offense against an undefeated Pine Bluff Dollarway team. Scott Hyatt's team rolls into this championship game with a 14-0 record, and they represent the 4A conference. I'll bring in my broadcast partner, Trey Schapp. And Trey, two terrific football teams here tonight. The Boonville Bearcats love to run it, and they'll run it a lot. And the Warren Lumberjacks like to air it out.
Warren likes to air it out, Bob, and that could be a problem depending on the weather. There's a lot of rain in the area. A lot of rain has come through. There's supposed to be more rain even tomorrow, but obviously worried about tonight's game. There is some rain south of us that could move through the area too, and we'll just say it could delay the game as well, because it's my indication from some reports that I've gotten out of the Arkadelphia area that there was lightning and hail and some definite thunder associated with that cell. So if it does move through, they might have to delay the game here at War Memorial Stadium. But will that affect the air attack of the Warren Lumberjacks? And would it help the ground attack of the Boonville Bearcats? And, Bob, when you look at these two teams defensively, Boonville is a stingy defense, only giving up 93 yards a game on the ground and only 88 yards through the air.
Yeah, they love to run the football. They like the ground control to eat the time off the clock. I think last week against Pine Bluff Dollarway only had 6 possessions during that whole football game. So it's a football team that if you're Warren, you got to go out there and find a way to get your defense off the field, because Boonville loves the ball control offense to pound it at you, wear you down up there on that front four, and take control in the second half.
And Bob, third downs are critical. We saw last week in the 5A championship game with Batesville and Morrilton. Batesville not able to convert on third downs at a good percentage, and that probably cost them the football game, not being able to do that, Bob, because it got them out of rhythm, and they were never able to really march the ball down the field at times and give credit to the Devil Dog defense. So I think it will be interesting tonight to see if the Warren Lumberjacks are able to do that against this stingy Boonville Bearcat defense.
Boonville comes into tonight's game with 2 state titles in school history. They won it back in 1986, and in the year 2000, they're coached by Scott Hyatt. And just a moment ago, R.J. Hawk caught up with Coach Hyatt.
Well, Coach, you've got your team back to War Memorial Stadium. It's been a little while, but it ought to feel nice to be back.
Oh, yeah, it feels great to be back. You know, kids have worked hard to get to this point, and we're just excited to be here.
You know, I was looking through some notes and some stats of your team, and in the first half of games this fall, you've outscored your opponent 431-36. That's a pretty impressive stat.
That's I saw that in the newspapers first time I've seen that this week. And I guess that is impressive. But kids just play hard, and when kids play hard, you can have some success like that.
When you face a team like Warren tonight, a team that spreads it out, really upbeat, up-tempo, what concerns you about that?
Warren's a very well-coached football team. They're good skilled people. They can spread the ball around to not just one guy. They run the ball well, throw it well. So, that's a big concern for any defensive coordinator.
Well, looking at your defense, though, you guys are only averaging giving up 11 points a game. Your defense has been pretty stout and pretty much a cog for this team this year.
Our defense has played well. And, those kids, like I said, once again, it gets back to they play hard. And, we've been fortunate enough to be able to play well, and hopefully we can play well one more night.
The rain's starting to come down pretty hard. It's probably going to stay throughout the ball game. Playing on this turf, it gets a little slick. Does that cause it for that running game of yours?
We played in the mud last week. I would prefer mud, but this, we had never really played on turf in the rain, so we'll see how it goes.
We talk about every year, anytime a team goes undefeated throughout the regular season, that's not an easy thing to do, no matter at what level you're at. This is an impressive group of seniors and juniors, really.
I'm proud of this group of kids. They worked hard in the weight room off season to get to this point. It's just my hat's off to them for a successful season and just doing a great job.
It's been since 2000 since you won a state title at Boonville. What would it mean to take a state title back to Boonville?
Man, I don't know if you could describe it in words. Boonville loves their football, and it's anytime you win a state championship in Boonville, it's big.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
That was Scott Hyatt, the head coach of the Boonville Bearcats, who will play for the 4A championship tonight here against the Warren Lumberjacks. We'll take a break and be back with more of our pregame show. You're listening to the 4A championship game between the Warren Lumberjacks and the Boonville Bearcats, driven by Fletcher Kia on the Buzz Radio Network. Back at War Memorial Stadium as we prepare for the opening kick between Warren and Boonville. We talked a lot about Warren before the break, and Bo Embry, the head coach of his Warren Lumberjacks, has brought them in here with a record of 10-3 on the season. They defeated Dardanelle 48-13 in the first round of the playoffs, and then they've had to match up with 2 tough foes in the quarters and the semifinals. In the quarterfinals, they draw Arkadelphia, win that ball game 31-24, and then last week, Trey, they were in a battle down to the end against Valley View down in Warren. That ball game was tied up. Valley View reaches the 5-yard line, fumbled the football. Warren goes on a 95-yard drive and scores inside a minute to play to make it here to the finals. So a moment ago, RJ also had a chance to catch up with Warren head coach Bo Embry.
Well, Coach, you're back in Little Rock. It's got to feel good. And I first want to talk about your non-conference schedule. You've faced some big teams in Fayetteville, PA, and Camden, Fairview, and it seems like it's worked out. You got your guys here.
Yeah, we faced a lot of adversity first 3 weeks with injuries, losing 3 games in a row, and was able to overcome it and get really hot during the conference season. And then, we haven't lost since week 3, and that adversity really helped us last week against Valley View, playing in some really bad conditions. Our kids just kept playing and never gave up. So, hopefully it'll continue over to tonight.
Last week against Valley View, your quarterback, Drake Jones, went on a 95-yard scoring drive, took your team down and helped you win that ball game. What's he mean to this football team?
Oh, he's our warrior. You know, he's our guy on offense that our team rallies around, and he can throw it, he can run it, and he's just a leader for us. And you know, we need him to play big tonight.
What concerns you with Boonville, both offensively and defensively?
You know, offensively, they just keep the ball away from you. They run a D-wing offense, and they just want to, you know, 3 yards is a great play for them. They want to control the clock and limit our possessions, and we got to make a play at some point, get them behind the sticks a little bit, and hopefully get off the field on defense. And then their defense just plays so hard, and they're relentless. And, you know, with the rain like it is, you know, hopefully we'll be able to spread them out and throw the ball around a little bit.
It's been since 2002 since your last state title at Warren. Boy, it ought to feel good to take one back possibly.
Oh, yeah, it does. It feels great to be back again. And, you know, hopefully we're going to play well enough to give us a chance to win there at the end of the ball game.
Good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
That was head coach Bo Embry of the Warren Lumberjacks. And, Trey, when you look at Warren, they're led by senior quarterback Drake Jones. He's thrown for almost 2,300 yards on the year, 26 touchdowns, and he's got some talented wide receivers led by Darvion Brown, who's got 1,800 yards, 48 catches, and 11 touchdowns on the season. He's already been offered by Arkansas.
Yeah, Bob, a lot of talent on this Warren Lumberjack team, and Arkansas's been down there before and plucked players out of Warren and Lumberjack territory, and it looks like they're going to try and get down there again. There's a lot of talent down around that area. The schools participating in this football championship game are members of the Arkansas Activities Association, as authorized by their school boards. The administrators of these schools have helped to write the rules and regulations that govern participation of students in competitive activities for the schools that are members of the AAA.
Trey, if you look at the results from the playoffs between these two teams, really the Boonville Bearcats have yet to be challenged. Their closest ball game was 21-point victory back in the week 2 of the playoffs against Hamburg. Then you look over on the side of the bracket for the Warren Lumberjacks. The last 2 weeks, they've had tight ball games coming down the stretch. If it's a tight game here in this 4A championship, does that give an edge to Warren?
I think it does, because they played tight games of, you know, most recently playing a tight game. Boonville really hasn't played a tight game all year long, Bob. They win 43-14 last week, 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, last week against Pine Bluff Dollaway. Lincoln 3 weeks ago, 35-0. They defeat Hamburg 35-14, Clinton 42-13. All of those in the playoffs. The team that has scored the most points against them was Mina, and they won that game 49-28. So they really haven't played a close game. The question is, how many possessions, how many snaps of the football will the Warren Lumberjacks get tonight?
Well, and if you're Boonville, you hope it's not a whole lot. Like I said, last week against Dollarway, they held them to 6 possessions in the football game, and they would love a carbon copy of that tonight against the Warren Lumberjacks. Let's head down on the field for Farm Bureau Insurance and Cersei sideline report and our R.J. Hawk.
Guys, earlier in the week, Bo Embry said to his team and really any type of media that would listen that really a key in this ball game is keeping Boonville off the field. He said that it's like a Cabot offense where if they have the football in their hands, they're going to just milk that clock throughout the ball game. And he said his defense got to find a way to really get the football back and let their offense stay on the field. Now, one cause for concern tonight, guys, is the weather. We've talked about it multiple times, and the rain is starting to get a little heavier now that I guess we're about 4 minutes away from kickoff. So we'll see how hard it starts coming down as we prepare for kickoff.
Thank you very much, RJ, and we'll be checking in with you throughout the night as this 4A championship game progresses. But now we need to take our final break. We'll be back with the opening coin toss and the opening kick of the 4A championship game. You're listening to Championship Football, driven by Fletcher Key on the Buzz Radio Network. Boonville prepare to make their way onto the playing surface here at War Memorial Stadium as we await the opening kickoff of the 4A championship game. Let's head back down on the field where R.J. Hawk is standing by with Bo Embry.
Coach, it's safe to say that last person out of Warren had to turn out the lights tonight.
Yeah, we got a great crowd, great football town. We just got to, we just got to play. We got to make this a 4-quarter ball game. We got to make we'll make a 4-quarter game and see what happens.
You talked about earlier in the week, it's a possession game. You got to keep the football out of their hands tonight.
Yes, we do. Well, we got to score. We got to score. Hopefully we can get them in some long distance.
Hey, good luck tonight.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, RJ, and thanks to Bo Embry for his time before the opening kick here in the 4A championship game. And Bo Embry is a guy that a lot of schools around the state of Arkansas have looked at, Trey. He's a hot commodity, but he has stuck around Warren. He always is loaded with talent down there in South Arkansas, and his team started this season 0-3, but they played Fayetteville, Pulaski Academy, and Camden Fairview in their non-conference, and they've since then reeled off 10 straight victories to make it to the final ball game here tonight. And they're looking for their first title since all the way back in 2002, where they won back-to-back titles in 01 and 02.
Yeah, Bob, and that game against Fayetteville was on the road in Northwest Arkansas. Long way to go for a non-conference game. The Arkansas Activities Association, which is sponsoring this championship game, is a voluntary nonprofit educational association of some 500 juniors and senior public and private high schools of Arkansas. The regulations which guide these events are adopted by the schools themselves and determine the type of program they believe to be most desirable for high school youth.
The Boonville Bearcats, the visiting team tonight, won the opening coin toss, and they want the football. They want their ball control offense out there to start this championship game. They're the road team tonight in their white road jerseys, purple pants, purple numerals, and gold helmets. The Warren Lumberjacks, the home team on the scoreboard, in all orange with black trim and black numerals. And we've got two terrific crowds here at the stadium, Boonville.
And Bob, the rain has just really started coming down, too.
Yep, both of these communities really support football and their athletic programs, and they have turned down in force here tonight, and we are underway. The kick is going to be fielded out at the 25-yard line, return left side across the 30, 35, and out to the 36-yard line goes Matt Berry. A nice return across the field of 17 yards, and that kickoff brought to you by Audio Express. They've got 3 locations in Arkansas. Check them out in Searcy, Conway, and Fayetteville. They have the finest in home and car audio and video, or check them out on the web at audioexpressarkansas.com. So here come the Boonville Bearcats. The ground and pound attack of Scott Hyatt's offensive unit on the field. They've got it 1st and 10 out at their own 36-yard line. A man in motion. Handoff straight ahead. He breaks a tackle. He's got running room in the secondary at midfield and into Warren territory down at the 49-yard line. That was the tailback that got the call, and Bryson May carries it for 17 yards and a first down on the game's first play.
Bobby ran into the back of his right guard and then just went around the outside of him between the guard and the tackle that time. And, boy, the linebackers for Warren were just nowhere to be found on that play.
You wonder if Warren has faced a rushing attack like they're going to see here tonight in Boonville. On first down. Once again, the quarterback fakes the handoff this time, keeps it inside the 45, down to the 44-yard line. That was Cody Harrell, the senior quarterback, 5'11", 175. He's thrown it for 367 yards on the season and 6 touchdowns. He does most of his damage on the ground. He's rushed for over 1,400 yards on the season.
How would you like to be Cole Inkelberger, though? You didn't get the ball that time, but yet you still got taken down to the turf.
A gain of 5 on first down, so 2nd down and 5. They hand it left side to the edge, breaks the tackle, driving for extra yardage. He's got the first down at the 28-yard line. Once again, that was Matt Berry with his 2nd carry of the night. And they'll move the chains once again. Another Boonville Bearcat first down.
3 plays, 2 first downs for the Bearcats.
Yeah, impressive drive for Boonville to start the ball game. They started out at their own 36. They've reached the Warren Lumberjack 38-yard line. Just underway, 10:40 to play, first quarter, no score in the ball game. To the line of scrimmage come the Bearcats, led by Cody Harrell, up under center. One back in the backfield. Now Harrell's going to keep it running room inside the 30, still on his feet, down at the 28-yard line. And
fumble.
Yeah, they had a fumble down there. I thought it was going to be a penalty marker, but instead it was a beanbag. And let's see who's got the football.
It looks like Harrell was able to get back on it.
Looked like it hit the turf and came right back up into his hands. So it is a gain of 10 yards on the play, and it's going to be very close to a first down.
Right now, Boonville's winning it at the line of scrimmage. I mean, their offensive line is pushing Warren backwards.
They're going to bring the chains on from the eastern sideline. Let's check in with RJ on the sideline for a Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report.
Guys, I think he's going to have the first down on this one, but that last drive, Warren is doing a really nice job of trying to strip the football. Every time they go to make the tackle, if you watch, they're doing a big whip move and really trying to get the football out and get the possession back.
And Bo Embry, guys, was all the way out to the numbers, saying, look, I looked at the replay, the ball came out, we were on it, and you gave it back to the Bearcats. What gives?
Boonville's run 4 plays, all rushing plays, 36 yards. They're averaging 9 yards a carry. This time, the Warren Lumberjacks do a nice job. They get penetration, they plug the hole, and they throw the tail back for a 2-yard loss. That was Matt Berry on the carry. But we've got a penalty marker that came in.
One's going to be on the tackle, and then another one's going to be on Bo Embry on the sideline. It's got to be, I would assume, unless he said something, it's got to be a sideline warning. But the first.
Inadvertent face mask, 5-yard penalty. We also have a sideline warning.
That sideline warning against Bo Embry, so the 5-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the play. So it will be first down and 8 for the Boonville Bearcats down at the 26-yard line of the Warren Lumberjacks. Warren finally did a nice job of getting defensive penetration, and then they grab hold of the face mask. So the Bearcats snap it, pitch it to the tailback, coming near side at the 20, at the 15, to the sideline, and bumped out of bounds down at the 10-yard line. That was Bryson May on the carry, and he's got a gain of about 16 on the play and another first down for the Bearcats.
Yeah, Boonville averaging on the ground, Bob, 337 yards per game.
Stacy Sloat, the referee tonight, Jerry Wright, the umpire, Chip Johnson, the linesman, Jeff Ray, your line judge, and Benny Shepard Jr., the back judge for this 4A championship game. So it's first and goal for the Boonville Bearcats down at the Warren Lumberjack 8-yard line. Ball spotted on the near hash mark as they move toward the south end zone here at the stadium. One back in the backfield. Quarterback keeps it, and he's going to be tackled for a loss. They're going to give him forward progress back at the 11-yard line, so he lost 3 on the play, and that time the defensive end slipped a block, got to the quarterback, tackled him.
Slipped a block, was able to get there, wrapped him up, and Bob didn't go high to where he could get called for an inverted face mask that time, but a nice form tackle, and he waited on help, held up the quarterback, and there were more orange jerseys around him willing to help him out.
And LaFoy Smith was the man defensively, the junior for Warren, that made the play. Second down and goal back at the 11 now. Boonville hands it left side, hit at the line of scrimmage and falling forward down to the 8-yard line. That's back to the original line of scrimmage, so it's going to bring up third down and goal after a gain of 3.
Bob, would you call this the state's largest deer stand tonight?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
All the orange that's in here.
A lot of orange and some camouflage mixed in.
A little bit of yellow. Yeah, the yellow really sticks out.
If you're a Warren Lumberjack fan, you just wear your school colors to the deer woods.
That's it. You go to class, then you go to the woods, right?
Third and goal for Boonville. Quarterback's going to keep it near side, and he's going to be drugged down from behind back at the 10-yard line. What a play defensively by Calix Harris, the safety, 5'9", 170. He came up playing the run and played it perfectly, tackled the quarterback, Cody Harrell, for a 2-yard loss.
Bob, you're exactly right. Calix Harris, the safety, came right through the middle that time, and wow, he was not fooled by the misdirection that time and the fact that the quarterback, Cody Harrell, elected to keep the football. And now the Boonville Bearcats down here, it's 4th and goal from the 10. They're going to go for it.
They're going to go for it. Rain starts to pick up here at the stadium. They run option left side. They pitch it to the tailback at the 10, makes a man miss. Drug down at the 5 from behind, and the Warren Lumberjack defense does its job, and they hold and turn it over on downs down at their own 5-yard line.
Bob, that's just pure speed from the backside. What a job by the linebacker that time for Warren, coming up and making a play. Kendrick Newton, 5'10", 230-pound senior, a 230-pounder that, Bob, looked like he ran about a sub-4.5.
Yeah, he caught the quarterback, Harrell, from behind, chased him down. The defense of the Lumberjacks bends, but they don't break, and they keep the Boonville Bearcats off the scoreboard. So here comes the high-powered offense of Warren. They've got one back in the backfield, two wide out, split to either side. The line of scrimmage out at the Lumberjack 5-yard line. They swing it near side, caught at the 5, makes a man miss, gets to the 10. They're going to give him the 11-yard line, so that's a gain of 6 on first down. That was Darvian Brown, I believe, with the reception. A little hard to see the numbers on these Warren Lumberjack uniforms tonight. 7 minutes, 15 seconds to play. First quarter, no score. Yeah, completion out at the 15 across the 20 to the 24-yard line. That time Gonder with the reception. He got a nice block from Darvian Brown that sprung him for a nice gain, and it's a first down for the Warren Lumberjacks. Well, we talked about
Bob. That's not noise right there in the field microphone. Hiss, that's rain hitting the seats here at the stadium. It is coming down.
Trips to the far side for Warren. One wide out, split to the near side. That's Gonder.
RJ's earning his money tonight down there.
Now the quarterback, Drake Jones, tells his tailback to switch sides. They hand it to him. The ball's on the turf. A scramble for it. Boonville looks like they may have the fumble recovery. They indeed do, and the Warren Lumberjacks turn it over after they put it on the turf out at their 25-yard line.
Bob, here's something that always concerns me with teams that want to run that hurry-up, no-huddle spread and look to the sideline. In a game when it's raining like this, that football is going to sit out there while you look to the sideline and get the call from the coaches. It's only going to get even more wet while it's sitting out there. Why not get the ball in, let the umpire stay over it, keep it dry as possible, get your play call, and go with it.
So a big break for Boonville. They've got it 1st and 10 down at the 25. They're going to pitch it near side to Matt Berry. Berry inside the 25, hit hard and taken down at the 23-yard line after a gain of 2 on the play. And
Kendrick Newton there again. Yeah.
Wow.
He is fast, Bob.
5'10", 230. He's just a junior, but he can run to the football.
No, he's a senior.
Oh, he's a senior? Okay.
He's a senior, but talented.
2 big plays here in the opening going for
back-to-back
Kendrick Newton.
good plays for him.
2nd down and 8, Bearcats at the 23 of Warren. Inside handoff, inside the 20, inside the 15, still on his feet, spinning down to the 11-yard line goes Berry. Nice gain on the play. They got a first down, and this Boonville offensive attack continuing to pound right at that front 4 of the Warren Lumberjacks. They're up to 59 yards on the ground with 10 offensive plays here midway through the first quarter.
Wow, that's a play that legendary coach Don Campbell used to run at Wynn. That 34 trap, I mean, it's just hard to defend, and that's exactly what it was right there. And with just good, hard running by the Boonville Bearcats gets them a first down.
Line of scrimmage down at the 11 for Boonville. 1st and 10. They're going to pitch it to Berry, left side, and he's going to be tripped up as he tried to make his cut. Somebody got penetration for the Warren Lumberjacks.
Looked like LaFoy Smith came through, 6 foot, 205-pound junior, and he had a blocker all over him, Bob, and he still made the tackle.
You're exactly right. He was engaged with the blocker in the backfield and just reached out with a right hand and tripped up Matt Berry and brought him down after a short gain. Rain continues to come down here. The 4A championship game in the first quarter, 5.5 minutes to play. No score in the ball game. Boonville knocking on the door. Quarterback keeps it inside the 10, got to the 6-yard line, and now a late penalty marker comes in.
It's another face mask.
Cody Harrell kind of ducked a tackler, and it looked like a Lumberjack reached out to try to grab him, may have grabbed the face mask.
And that's going to be an automatic first down, I believe. We'll have to await the call.
Inadvertent face mask against the defense. Half the distance to the goal. Still be 2nd down.
Well, the reason it's not a first down is because to pick up a first down, they'd have to get all the way to the 1-yard line. So half the distance, you replay the down, Bob, if they only get to the 3.
So they've got it 2nd down and 2 at the 3-yard line. They can pick up a first and goal inside the Warren 1. 5:12 to play and counting first quarter. No score in the ball game. Boonville inside the 5. They hand it left side, diving for the end zone. Touchdown, Bryson May. The Boonville Bearcats leading rusher on the season Gets it in the end zone from 3 yards out. The Bearcats capitalize on the turnover, march it 25 yards, and they own a 6-0 lead with 5 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Just a good job that time. He saw the goal line, Bob, and he dove for it. Able to get in to the end zone.
So Josh Smith is on to try the extra point. Out of the hold of James Ray. Good snap. The kick is up, and it is good. And we'll take a break with Boonville on top by a score of 7-0. You're listening to the 4A championship game driven by Fletcher Kia on the Buzz Radio Network. After the Warren fumble, they lead this football game. They'll kick it away, and it's a kick to the near sideline, fielded out at the 24, across the 30, 35, 40. Still on his feet out at the 43. Nice return by Warren to set up good field position for the Lumberjacks. They just need to hang on to the football. They trail 7-0 with 4:55 to play, and Trey, the rain is probably the heaviest we've seen all night.
I think it is, Bob. It's really coming down right now, and here when we have a chance, we'll go down to RJ. It's just hard to do it right now with this hurry-up offense of Warren.
Warren sends a man in motion. They're going to hand it straight ahead. Bouncing it to the outside. No running room. Tackled for a yard loss back at the 30. Or actually back at the 43-yard line. That was Kylie Cox, the leading rusher.
Just saw some lightning off in the distance. Not sure how close it is yet, but if it gets in within a 10-mile radius of the stadium, they will stop the game.
So after a yard loss, it's 2nd down and 11. Warren looking to throw. Jones comes near side, complete at the 45, and down to the 40 goes Darby and Brown after a nice catch and run, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Warren Lumberjacks. And let's check in with RJ on the sideline for a Farm Bureau Insurance sideline report.
Guys, this may be the hardest it's been raining all ball game, and it's coming down now. But Warren's not changing their game plan. They're still going to throw it around a little bit, and so far they've been effective with it.
Well, Drake Jones is lucky that the umpire threw a flag and blew the whistle because the snap was high. It went off of his fingertips and all the way back to the Boonville 40-yard line.
Yeah, and he's upset with his center right now, too, because of it.
Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Well, they lost 5 on the penalty, but
it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been 20 or 25 had Drake Jones had to retreat and get the football. So it's 1st and 15. Looking to throw. Jones taking a shot right side, and he overthrows his intended receiver down at the 10-yard line, rather. It was intended for Jalen Marshall, the junior wideout, and he had beaten his man, but the ball was just overthrown by about 5 yards. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 15 with 4:12 to play here in the first quarter. 7-0 Boonville leading.
Bob, you want to give the coaches in the 8-4A something to think about? Warren's offense, they start only 4 seniors.
They're going to be tough for a while, aren't they? Drake Jones completes the pass down to the 35, and out of bounds goes Vonerick Gonder after the reception. He picked up the 5 they lost on the penalty plus an additional 5, so they're facing 3rd down, let's call it 5. They need to reach the 30 of Boonville to pick up a 1st down. Out of the shotgun, and the left tackle moved, and that's going to...
Well, he moved because the defensive front of Boonville moved.
Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So the 4th penalty of the night against the Warren Lumberjacks for 15 yards. No penalties in the ball game for Boonville. Looking to throw. Jones comes near side, and he had a man but overthrew him down at the 27. Ball sailed on him. He tried to find Gonder, who had run a nice route and had enough yardage to pick up the 1st down. It was just an errant throw.
Now it's decision time for Bo Embry. Do you punt the football away, or do you go for it here? Bob, if you go for it and throw it deep, and if Boonville intercepts it, it's almost as good as a punt.
No question, Bo Emery's going to go for it, and he sends trips to the far side. Drake Jones has time down the center of the field, and he had his man and in and out of the hands of his intended receiver down at the 20-yard line. And I believe that was Darvion Brown that had it in his hands and looked at his gloves and can't believe he didn't hold on to the football.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It looked like Brown, and it was Bob Darvion Brown, and he's looking at his gloves like, come on, don't fail me now, but now he's actually going to take them off. Probably a little wet.
So Darvion Brown missed an opportunity to pick up the first down on 4th and 7. So Boonville will have good field position after their defense holds on downs out at their own 40-yard line. Misdirection play and brought down for a yard loss back at the 37-yard line is Matt Berry. That play never had a chance.
Never had a chance because Berry read it well, Bob. Boonville's trying to come with a little misdirection. And Warren, if you're the Warren defense, you just have to stay at home. You can't get fooled. You've got to play your assignment, play your area, and try and get upfield as fast as you can. Get into the backfield of the Boonville Bearcats.
2nd down and 11, Bearcats out at their own 38-yard line. Quarterback's going to keep it, hit at the line of scrimmage, fights forwards, and somehow picks up about 3 yards on the play out to the 43. Good tough running by Cody Harrell as he stayed on his feet after he was hit at the line of scrimmage. And Drake Boonville has had much better success running right at this defense of the Warren Lumberjacks. Anytime they've tried to get to the edge, the speed of Warren has been too much defensively.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, Warren has a ton of speed, and so I think where Boonville can be effective tonight is trying to run right at them. Run right between the tackles.
3rd down and 7. Bearcats. Cody Harrell, the quarterback, kept the football, got out to the 48. That's going to be about a yard and a half shy of the first down. So
let's see what Scott Hyatt wants to do here, Bob. Do you go for it on your side of the football field? 4th and 1.
Wow.
Try and draw Warren offside maybe?
He's got a lot of confidence that he can run the football, and he's got the offense. They're going to stay out there.
Well, I think they're going to let the clock run down and then call a timeout. Here comes the play in. The play's coming in very, very late. 5 seconds on the play clock. They're not going to get it off. They're either going to have to call a timeout, and that's what they do. They call a timeout.
Yep, they're going to burn it with 3 seconds on the play clock and talk it over. And that'll give us a chance to check in once again with RJ on the sideline for a Farm Bureau Insurance and Cersei sideline report.
Guys, I'll tell you one thing. This turf at War Memorial Stadium, it really drains well. You know, last week when we had that freezing rain and 20-degree temperatures, I had talked with Jerry Cohen, and I said, man, the stadium really holds water well, and it drains nice. And he said, yeah, it's one of the best facilities in the state as far as drainage is concerned, and we're seeing a lot of rain coming down there. It's not puddling up anywhere on the field.
Well, remember, coming out of this timeout, guys, Cody Harrell, the quarterback for Boonville, is also their punter. So they could line up in a shotgun formation and ask Cody Harrell to hit a pooch kick, but they're going to keep the offense back out there.
Bob, the weather is something to watch. We've had a lightning strike within 12 miles in the last 30 seconds. So if it gets within 10, I think they probably will. And
now, the bad weather was moving from the Arkadelphia area right up I-30 into the metro area, so we'll see if that becomes a problem here in the next few moments. So Boonville will kick it, and we got a penalty marker that comes in from the referee in the offensive backfield.
Not sure what this is, unless it was an illegal substitution.
Illegal substitution against the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Did they run a man off? It looked like they did.
Broke the huddle with 12
and one ran off the field. And they had 11 out there. Nice catch by the white hat tonight, Stacy Sloat.
So that'll move the line of scrimmage back to the Boonville 43-yard line. Cody Harrell standing back at his own 28. He handles a low snap. Hits a wobbly kick to the near sideline that's going to hit down at the 25, take a Bearcat bounce inside the 20, the 15, and what a nice roll all the way down to the Warren 7-yard line.
It's nice if you can get it down in there, Bob, but
wasn't the prettiest of kicks, but it was very effective.
It was effective.
Minute 50 to play here in the first quarter. The Boonville Bearcats capitalizing on a fumble that they got down at the Warren 25-yard line. They marched it in, and Bryson made the last 3 yards for the touchdown, and that's the game's only points with a minute 50 to play here in the first quarter. Warren moved the ball effectively before that fumble on their first drive. The last drive, they had a first down on 4th and long and dropped the football down at the Boonville 20-yard line, and before they can snap it on first and 10, another penalty that's going to go against the Warren Lumberjacks. That's their 5th of the night.
Illegal procedure against the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Let's check in real quick with RJ on the sideline, a Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report. A little case of the jitters to start this ball game, RJ?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Warren's really shot themselves in the foot tonight, and really I think they're throwing the ball better than expected with this rain coming down like it is.
On first down, Drake Jones throws it out of his own end zone, far side, complete across the 5, out to the 6-yard line. Not much there, a gain of about 2 yards on the play. Good job in coverage by that secondary of the Boonville Bearcats. Bryson May made the tackle.
Well, that was a great play by the Boonville Bearcat defense and staying with their receivers. But I agree with RJ. I think Warren's got a chance if they'll throw the ball down the field.
2nd and 12. Swing pass near side, caught, tackled immediately back at the 4-yard line. They tried to hit the tailback out of the backfield. It was complete, but a great job of sniffing it out defensively and great pursuit to the football. Dalton Gray, the big tackle, 6'4", 240, was the first man over there to make the stop.
Yeah, they're just jumping the little passes into the outside.
So the Lumberjacks facing 3rd down and 15 back at their own 3. They need to reach the 18-yard line to pick up a first down. Jones looking to throw out of his own end zone, and it is incomplete out at the 30-yard line. That was Jaylon Marshall working against man-to-man coverage in the secondary. Went up high. The ball hit off of his hands. He wanted a pass interference call in the secondary against Cody Harrell, but he didn't get it. And the Lumberjacks are going to have to punt it away from deep in their own end zone.
It looked like they got there at the same time, ball and player, Bob.
Yeah, I agree.
On the replay.
I thought it was a great play by Cody Harrell. So Justin Gorman will punt it away for Warren, and he is standing with his heels on the back end line of the south end zone. He gets a good snap. Hits a low wobbly kick that's going to hit out at the 35 and take a big Warren Lumberjack roll across midfield and all the way down to the Boonville 39-yard line. What a kick under pressure by Justin Gorman of Warren.
That was a great kick. And, Bob, one thing that I noticed on that play and that I've noticed with both teams on punts is they don't really rush the punter, and then they kind of hang back and wait to see what happens. You think that maybe run a fake one time or not?
Might work. Justin Gorman, that kick, 56 yards, no return. It's 1st and 10. Boonville out at the 39-yard line of the Bearcats. They're going to run it straight ahead, running room across the 40, spinning to the 45, and out to the 46-yard line goes Bryson May. He's a junior. He's rushed for almost 1,300 yards and 25 touchdowns on the season for the Bearcats.
One thing that you've noticed, too, about these Bearcats, Bob, running the football, they always, it seems like they're falling forward.
Coach Scott Hyatt was asking the Democrat
Gazette.
That's the
end of the quarter.
We'll talk about that when we come back. That's into the first quarter with Boonville on top of the Warren Lumberjacks by a score of 7-0. You're listening to the 4A championship game, driven by Fletcher Key on the Buzz Radio Network. Leads Warren in the 4A championship game as we start the second quarter. The Bearcats facing 2nd down and 3 out at their own 46-yard line as they move toward the north end zone. 3 backs in the backfield, and they hand it right side to Berry. Berry gets out to the edge. He's got the first down at midfield, lowers his shoulder, runs over a defender, and is finally knocked out down at the 44 of the Warren Lumberjacks, but not before he picked up 10 yards on the play and a first down.
Well, I'll give him credit for running on the outside that time, and I'll give Boonville credit for running to the outside, Bob, that time, but there should have been a flag on the ground. There was a hold in the backfield, and that lightning strike there got really, really close to the stadium.
Well, we were talking before the break about Scott Hyatt. This team runs a double slot scheme offensively, kind of like Georgia Tech and Navy run, and he thinks that it gives his team an advantage when they get to the playoffs because they're always facing teams that are bigger, stronger, and more physical. On first and 10, Cody Harrell kept the football inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line. That's another gain of 10 on the play, and this Boonville offense just keeps chipping away at the Lumberjacks defensively.
Yeah, they are. They're just, running right at them right now, and their offensive line is just blowing Warren off the football.
So they'll move the change, a fresh set of downs with 11:38 to play before halftime. Boonville on the move, and they own a 7-0 lead here in the 4A championship game. Rain continues to come down here at the stadium. Inside handoff, and this time not much running room for May as he picked up maybe a yard down near the 34-yard line. Actually, they're going to say his knee was down right at the line of scrimmage. So 2nd down and 10.
By time of possession, Boonville 9:04 in the first quarter, Warren 2:56. And we might have a delay coming soon, Bob, because my lightning detector just told me 6-mile radius. We've had a lightning strike within it 30 seconds ago.
The Boonville Bearcats have run 21 plays, 115 yards of offense on the night, all of it on the ground. And at left side at the 30, coming to the near sideline to the 25-yard line, fighting for extra yardage is Matt Berry, and he's got a gain of 9 on the play.
Bo Embry not happy with the technique that his defense was using, Bob, there. It looked like he was very frustrated with his defense, not using great technique and trying to make the tackle.
Yeah, talking to D'Angelo McCoy and Otis Miller, the two guys over here that finally made the tackle, and you're right, he didn't like the form that they used trying to get the tailback Matt Berry on the turf. 3rd and short, less than a yard for Boonville. Quarterback's going to keep it right side. He's hit, spins out of a tackle, and he's got the first down. He got to the 18-yard line on sheer second effort. The defensive end on the far side for the Warren Lumberjacks tackled him up, wrapped him up around the helmet, and he just ducked the tackle, spun out of it, and got the first down.
Wow, that was just pure second effort right there, getting the first down for the Boonville Bearcats, and what a gutty effort by Cody Harrell. 5'11", 175-pound senior quarterback. Don't make a mistake that will cost you thousands. For the best selection and the best deal on a new Kia, shop Frank Fletcher Kia on South University in Little Rock before you buy anywhere else.
That was the 9th first down of the ball game for Boonville. They're on the move. They've reached the 23-yard line as Harrell keeps it on first down, gets inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. He picked up 4 on the play. And speaking of Frank Fletcher last night, what a generous gift that he gave at Christmas karaoke, $10,000 cash gift.
Yeah, a cash gift of $10,000 to Youth Home. And, boy, just I don't know if there's a man that's more generous, Bob, and I think what is that went onto the field?
Somebody threw a pair of gloves
off from Warren.
9 minutes to play here before halftime, 7-0 Boonville. They're looking to add to their lead.
That's all we want to say about Christmas karaoke last night. The rest of it was...
Yeah, one act was pitiful, I can tell you that. Had 4 guys in it that...
Which one are you talking about?
That have a show from 1 to 3.
Oh, a 2-hour show?
Or 1 to 4, rather. No gain on the play. 3rd down and 5 facing Boonville down at the Warren 18-yard line. And
glad you listened for 2 hours.
Yeah. I think Wally turned his microphone off last night.
I think he did, too. He hijacked our performance.
Here come the Bearcats on 3rd and 5 out of the I formation, and now they don't like what they see defensively, and Cody Harrell is going to burn a timeout, and that'll give us a chance to check in with RJ on the sideline for Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report.
You know, it's really impressive the way this Warren defense has really, once again, bent but not broken, and really it's when they get inside the 20 they really kind of start to I don't know, swarm to the football a little bit more. Just doesn't seem like they can do it between the 20s.
Well, the rain had let up a little bit. Now then it is back to raining hard here at the stadium.
The Arkansas Activities Association is one of 50 state organizations that belong to the National Federation of State High School Associations. This association formulates policies, game rules, and standards for inter-school competition. The schools of Arkansas have adopted these rules on eligibility, which correspond to those recommended by the National Federation. Now, Bob, I know RJ didn't have an umbrella last week. Did you provide the umbrella again tonight?
I'm not sure where he got that one from.
Or was that a Staples umbrella, RJ?
Well, I want to thank Bill Joseph this week as he was able to provide me with this umbrella.
And Bob's going to have his umbrella for tomorrow around noon.
Yeah, going to need it, it looks like. 3rd down and 5. Quarterback Harrell keeps it right side. He's got the first down and more at the 10, lowers his shoulder, and gets to the 5-yard line, and nobody touched him until he was about 9 yards downfield.
That defensive end for Warren that time just got blown up. It was an unbalanced formation, and the fullback did a nice job. Actually, that was the cornerback that came up and tried to make the tackle for Warren. And, man, he just got blocked all the way out of the way.
Now then,
I would think, Bob, if you're Warren, I know you want to wait to halftime to go in, but I think a weather delay right here would be beneficial for them.
Boonville with a new quarterback in the ball game. Quarterback Cody Harrell's helmet came off, and now then they're going to have to go with a new quarterback. They hand it right side, inside the 5, still on his feet, driving to the goal line. Did he get there? He did. Touchdown, Boonville. They brought in James Ray at quarterback because Cody Harrell had lost his helmet on the previous play. He took the snap from under center, handed it right side, and Bryson May picks up his second touchdown of the night, this time from 5 yards out.
Wow, that was just pure second effort that time. Pure second effort on the touchdown run by Bryson May. 5'10", 218-pound junior.
The extra point is up and good, and Boonville owns a 14-0 lead with 7 minutes and 44 seconds to play before halftime. We'll take a break. You're listening to the 4A championship game driven by Fletcher Key on the Buzz Radio Network. 14-0 Boonville as they get set to kick it away. The kickoff brought to you by Audio Express. Check them out on the web at audioexpressarkansas.com. The kick sails out of bounds down at the 25-yard line, so Warren will have an option to take it out at the 35 or make the Bearcats re-kick the football.
I think they'll take it at the 35. That's what they're going to do.
The offense will take the ball on the 35-yard line.
So Bo Emery likes the field position at the 35, and he sends the offense out there. Warren really needing something positive to happen offensively to get back in this football game. The quarterback, Drake Jones, is going to keep it as he made his cut out at the 35. He had his feet slip out from under him. No gain on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 10.
Bob, and I know the bands aren't playing right now, and you might be able to hear the rumble of thunder through our field mic, but let's go to R.J. Hawk. Can you hear it down there, R.J.?
Guys, this is ridiculous that the AAA's letting this go on right now. I'm looking at some weather forecasts that coaches have down here on the field, and they said the last lightning strike was within 6 miles of War Memorial Stadium. I mean, who's watching this up there?
Swing pass near side, complete, tackled for a loss back at the 33-yard line. The completion was to Jalen Marshall, but this Bearcat defense is all around the football. 5 white jerseys within a yard of Jalen Marshall when he caught the football, and he's tackled for a 2-yard loss.
I've got 8 seconds within the last strike within 6 miles. And look, the problem is all the metal bleachers.
Trips go to the far side, 2 to the near side. They empty out the backfield. Drake Jones operating out of the shotgun, looking to throw down the middle of the field, and it is dropped down at the 45-yard line. And that time he tried to find Davian Brown, and Brown just dropped the football.
Bob, you can't put a ball any better.
Drake Jones needs some help with his wideouts. 3 of them I can remember right in their hands. It would have been big plays, and they dropped the football.
Wet gloves and, wet hands. Get them some towels and dry their hands off.
So 3 and out goes the Warren Lumberjack offense, they're going to have to punt it away. Kick is going to hit down at the 40-yard line inside the 35. It'll bound dead at the 31-yard line, and that's where the Boonville Bearcats will have the football, and they own a 14-0 lead with 6:18 to play before halftime.
And by that time of possession, boy, Warren's only had the football for 4 minutes and 22 seconds in the game. Boonville for 13 minutes and 20 seconds.
Well, we talked about what Boonville did last week on the road against a very, very good Pine Bluff Dollarway football team. They rushed for 500 yards, and they held Dollarway to only 6 possessions in the ball game, and they're off to a great start here tonight. 27 plays for 149 yards of total offense for the Bearcats here through a quarter and a half. They're going to pitch it right side, and submarine and tackled back at the 26-yard line is Josh Smith, his first carry of the night. And that time, the Lumberjacks defense got penetration and brought him down. Nice play.
Yeah, they need to keep trying to, like I said, get up into the backfield and make Boonville's runners make quicker decisions, Bob. And that time they were able to get back there and take the legs out from underneath them.
D'Angelo McCoy, the linebacker on the near side, chased him down and got him for a loss of 5 on the play.
When you take the legs out, it won't take 3 guys to bring a guy down.
Quarterback's going to keep it Harrell at the 30, at the 35, runs into his blocker out at the 38-yard line and is tackled there. He picked up 12 on the play, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 3.
Well, Warren they had 2 guys run together defensively, Bob. One was blocked into a guy that was about to make the tackle. It looked like a quarterback was going to come up and make the tackle, but his defensive end was blocked into him, and then a nice job of standing him up just 3 yards short of the first down marker by the Lumberjack defense. Brings up 3rd, and they're going to call it a short 4.
One back in the backfield. Up under center is Harrell. He's going to hand it straight ahead out near the first down chains and falling forward for the first down out at the 44-yard line. That was Josh Smith on the carry, and he's got the first down. They needed 3. They picked up 5. So they'll keep the football and have a fresh set of downs out at their own 44-yard line. 14-0 Boonville. They've dominated this football game. 162 yards on the ground. Only 45 yards of total offense for Warren here in the first half. They run it near side, tackled after a yard gain out at the 45. That was Matt Berry that was hit hard and stopped after a short gain.
Bob, if Warren needs something positive to happen here before going into the locker room at halftime, they need to get a stop right here and try and figure out the Boonville Bearcat defense with their offense, because you don't want to go into the locker room down 21-0.
You are exactly right. Calix Harris and LaFoy Smith made that last stop for the Warren defense, and Boonville facing 2nd down and 9 out at their own 45-yard line. They pitch it near side, looking for a block. Turns it up inside, got to the midfield stripe before he was knocked to the turf, and that's going to be 4 yards shy of a first down. Matt Berry took the toss and picked up 4 on the play. Thunder in the background.
They're about to suspend play due to the weather, so they're going to have everybody go underneath the stadium. We'll keep it right here for a second. Let's see if we can get RJ quick word with Bo Embry as he walks off the field. RJ is right behind you. I'll watch for your signal. You can ask him first if he wants to say anything to you, and I'll watch for a signal from you. And we'll go from there. And let's go down to RJ.
Coach Embry, kind of unusual circumstances with the weather, but just talk about your team's performance so far.
We just got to catch the football. We got people wide open. This rain's killing us right now. I mean, it's pouring down, and they're a run team, we're a pass team, and you can see it's a big difference right now.
Well, this is the opportunity to give you some time to talk to your guys?
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, good luck, Coach.
Yeah, couldn't have come
I don't want to be in that locker room right now with him going in there, though. That's for sure.
Couldn't have come at a better time for Bo Embry, though, because – like you said, the rain is at its heaviest point. His team can't catch the football. They've got a chance, trailing 14-0, to go into the locker room with 3:30 before halftime and kind of regroup here and see if they can get some points before halftime.
RJ has some officials down there with him. We'll let him listen in to see what they are saying and maybe have an interview with one of them. I'm not sure exactly who is down there with him, and we'll see if he might be able to get a word with one of them or at least tell us what they are conversing about in the north end zone. Now, they are clearing the stands and the field here at War Memorial Stadium. And you can hear, we have a mic outside, and it is coming down right now at here at War Memorial Stadium. Now, I'm not sure if this was the cell that was around the Arkadelphia area earlier, Bob, but it is really coming down now. I mean, it is pelting down hard. And, in fact, it's coming down so hard that we're just going to pull our microphone back inside and try and get it out of the elements for the time being and maybe keep it a little bit drier than normal. But it'll give us a chance to keep it here for a little while, and then we'll send it back to the studio and let HB and Jamie get ready back there in the studio. We're going to send it to ESPN here in a second. But first we can tell you that for the deal of a lifetime on a new Kia, come to Frank Fletcher Kia on South University. Fletcher Kia will beat anybody's deal on a new Kia. Shop Fletcher Kia before you buy anywhere else. And one thing we can do, Bob, is we can recap the scoring here so far in this football game. And it all started with the Boonville Bearcats getting on the scoreboard. We'll try and bring that to you. Let's throw it for a timeout, and we'll come back to the stadium and see if we can get this worked out.
Okay, we will do that. Back with more here, the 4A championship game where the Boonville Bearcats own a 14-0 lead. We're at the 3-minute and 30-second mark of the second quarter. The game has been delayed. The rain is coming down heavy. The bleachers have been cleared here at War Memorial Stadium. The respective teams have gone back to their locker rooms. There's lightning within 6 miles of the stadium, and the rain is pelting down. So we will take a break and be back here in just a couple of moments. You're listening to the 4A championship game driven by Fletcher Kia. Back at War Memorial Stadium, where we have just come out of an hour and 15-minute weather delay with 3:30 to play in the second quarter. The Boonville Bearcats on a 14-0 lead over the Warren Lumberjacks. Let's head down to R.J. Hawk on the sideline, a Farm Bureau Insurance sideline report. He's standing by with Boonville head coach Scott Hyatt.
Coach, we've been through an hour and 15-minute rain delay. Have you been through something like this before?
Yeah, last year with the hurricanes, we're up at Gravett. We had about a 40-minute delay up there. So, these kids have been through this before.
You and I were talking before we came on, and it's not ever fun to be in something like this because everybody's loose. Now they tighten back up, and you guys had a lot of momentum there in the first half.
It's one of those things. You just got to try to keep your kids focused and keep your momentum. It's hard sitting in there for an hour after you're keyed up and ready to go. So, hopefully we can come back out and keep it going.
Coach, this is not like a regular game. It's a state championship game, so they're a little bit more amped up than normal. What'd you say to them before they came back out here?
Just let's go back out, try to pick up where we left off, and see what happens.
Hey, good luck the rest of the ball game, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, R.J. And Trey, an hour and 15-minute weather lightning delay, and it's been over 30 minutes since we've had a lightning strike within a 10-mile radius of War Memorial Stadium. We've seen some flashes in the distance, but none of them within the 10-mile area. So we are in the final stages of a 5-minute warm-up period. Both teams have come back onto the field. The fans have been allowed to re-enter the stadium. So we're just a matter of minutes away from Boonville having the football out at midfield. They'll face 3rd down and 4, and they lead 14-0.
Yeah, 14-0. Boonville's, Bob, they controlled the football game so far. And you wonder, okay, what adjustments did Bo Embry make in the locker room during that delay, and what did Scott Hyatt look at and go back and try and change any attack that they were making in the game? Now, we should say that War Memorial Stadium, the field is drained fairly well. Right in the middle of the field where the AAA logo is, and normally the Razorback logo is down on the field for the games, in between the hash marks for the Arkansas games here at the stadium. Bob, when the rain was coming down, it pooled up there was a big pool of water there in the middle of the field. And then the north end zone as well, where the water ran down the tunnels from the north end, from the north and northeast corner and the northwest corner. Water pooled in the back of the end zone. So footing could be an issue early on as we get ready to restart the game. But Bob, it's a big 3rd and 4th down right here for Warren. If they can get a stop right here on this play and force Boonville to make a decision whether to go for it on 4th down or punt it, the ball's going to be at midfield, right around where that water pooled up during that big lightning delay.
Warren has only had the football for 4:22 in this first half. 13 minutes and 20 seconds of time of possession for Boonville. Boonville outgained Warren to 168 yards to 45 yards. 11 first downs for Boonville, just 2 for the Warren High School Lumberjacks. And if Warren's going to get back in this football game, they're going to have to be able to stop this very effective running attack of the Bearcats. So here we go, out of the lightning delay, 3rd down and 4 out near midfield. The quarterback, Harrell, is going to keep the football, and he's corralled down at the 48 of Warren, and that's going to be about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. They ran the option play, which has been the bread and butter of this Boonville attack here in the first half, and they come up about 1.5 yards shy of the first down.
And there was just another huge lightning strike obviously up above us, and I'm not sure how close it was to the stadium. Well, let's hope that they can get this 245, and then there's the thunder. You can hear it.
So Boonville's going to go for it on 4th and 2. They hand it straight ahead, and they've got the first down inside the Warren 45 down to the 42-yard line, and that's where Coach Hyatt just said, hey, guys up front, get a hat on a hat, win the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what this Boonville offensive line did, and they pick up 5 yards.
Exactly right, Bob. Just a hat on a hat, pushing forward, and Boonville's controlled the line of scrimmage all night long.
Quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Cody Harrell up under center is going to hand it straight ahead. We got a penalty marker on the play. Running down inside the 35, still on his feet at the 30-yard line, and they're gaining yardage in chunks now as Bryson May, who already has 2 touchdowns on the night, picked up 12 yards on first down.
Not sure what the flag is, but we'll await the word from Stacy Slope. I wonder if it's a substitution infraction. They've had one of those already tonight. Have the Bearcats. And it looks like it's on Warren.
He walks all the way back to midfield to pick up his penalty marker.
Testing. There were only 11 players on the field. They ran the 11th man off and played with 10 men. They had enough men on the line of scrimmage, so the play is legal. The flag is waved off.
Wow. They had 10 men on the field, and they still were able to gain, Bob,
12 yards.
12 yards.
Yep. What a play. Another first down. Boonville on the move. They've reached the Warren 30-yard line. First down and 10. The inside handoff inside the 25. At the 20, on his feet inside the 15. And driving for extra yardage is Justin Shackelford. His first carry of the night. And he picks up a gain of 15 and another Boonville first down.
Bo Embry is not happy with his defense right now.
Well, the Warren Lumberjacks are in shock. They have had the football run right at them very effectively tonight. Boonville already over 203 yards on the ground here in the first half. The Bearcats hand it straight ahead, a gain of 3. They reach the 11-yard line with 1:48 to play before halftime. 14-0 in a ball game that Boonville has dominated. Bryson May, the only 2 scores in the ball game. He scored on a 3-yard run in the first quarter, a 5-yard run in the second quarter. Second down and 6, Bearcats at the Lumberjack 11. Handoff left side, upended as he got to the 8-yard line. That was a gain of 3, and on the carry was Matt Berry. Berry, 5'10", 175-pound junior. He and Bryson May, maybe 2 of the best junior tailbacks around the state of Arkansas. They are a load to handle for this Warren Lumberjack defense. On third down and 3, they hand it right side to Bryson May, and he was stopped at the line of scrimmage. A nice job defensively of stepping up to make the tackle by Aaron Church.
The question here is, Bob, it's fourth down. If you're Warren, you don't want to use the timeout here because you don't want, if they get a first down and not a touchdown, you don't want to give them extra time on the clock.
2 backs in the backfield. They're going to run a quarterback keeper to the right side. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, stacked up, and he's denied the first down. The Lumberjack defense comes up big, and they stop quarterback Cody Harrell at the 6-yard line, and they'll turn it over on downs.
Question here is now, Bob, if you're Warren, do you just take a knee and go back and have a 20-minute delay in the locker room because of halftime, or do you try and throw the football here down the field and try and put up points with 32 seconds left?
Well, on one of the few running plays that Warren ran tonight, they fumbled the football. I think if you're Bo Emery, you do what you do best, and that's throw the football.
You've got 3 timeouts.
So here comes quarterback Drake Jones. He's standing in the shotgun back at his 1-yard line. Pump fake. He's going to take a shot downfield, and it is battle for and intercepted. Nope, they're going to say the ball hit the turf. It hit the turf and bounced right back up into the hands of Matt Berry, the corner on the near side. And, boy, great coverage out here. Man-to-man coverage by Berry as he was running step for step with Jalen Marshall.
Now, Drake Jones, Bob, just has to put more air under that football. Throw it more to the outside where only your guy can catch it.
26 seconds left before halftime. Low snap. Drake Jones is just going to keep it on a quarterback keeper, and he's got a big gainer across the 20 out to the 26-yard line. Clock continues to run. Now they'll stop it as they move the chains with 20 seconds to play before halftime, and Warren's going to burn a timeout.
Russell Athletic is the official all-star team uniform supplier of the Arkansas Activities Association.
Well, the Lumberjacks run the quarterback draw to get a little better field position and give Jones a couple of chances to go downfield. And let's go down on the sideline ourselves. Another Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report and R.J. Hawk.
Guys, prior to coming back from the warm-ups, I saw Bo Embry, and I asked him, I said, are you still going to try to throw the football with the rain coming down? He said, that's part of our game plan. That's what we do. He said, but we are going to mix in some more quarterback runs because that's going to, keeping the ball on the ground and trying to move the offense. They got to do it any way they can right now.
That's good. Good thoughts there from Bo that RJ was able to grab the fact that, yeah, we throw the football, but maybe let Drake try and get it done with his legs.
He's a big kid, 6'1", 200 pounds. He can run the football. 3 wide out, split to the far side, 2 to the near side. They empty out the backfield. Line of scrimmage out at the 26. They fake it. Pump fake left side. Down the far sideline. A man out there. And it is caught and out of bounds down at the Lumberjack 40-yard line. Nice catch on the far side of the field, and that's going to be a first down for the Lumberjacks.
Oh, this is the best field position they've had all night. It's the best drive they've had all night. They had the ball to start with 35 seconds to play in the half, and they're in great position here.
Completion was to Khalil Thomas. Here come the Lumberjacks once again. They work the sideline, complete and out of bounds down at the 27-yard line. Nice quick out pattern. This time it was Gonder, the leading receiver on the night for the Warren Lumberjacks, his 4th catch, and he's got 53 yards, reception yards tonight. It's going to stop the clock with 9 seconds to play before halftime. 1st and 10 down at the 26. Drake Jones taking a shot to the end zone. The ball is underthrown, and it's intercepted. Had a man out there, but he underthrew the football, and Matt Berry with a fine defensive play in the end zone intercepts it and turns it over for the Boonville Bearcats.
Wow. What a play defensively. And, Bob, sometimes if you're a receiver, you've got to go up and help your quarterback out in a situation like that. The ball was underthrown a little bit, but play defense. Go up and knock it away from the cornerback that's trying to make the interception. The receiver that time did not help his quarterback, Drake Jones, out.
So Boonville will have it after the interception in the end zone. 1st and 10 out at their own 20-yard line. They're just going to snap it once, take a knee, and head to the locker room with a 14-0 lead at halftime. That's exactly what they do, and let's head down on the sidelines to R.J. Hawk and see if he's going to catch up once again with Coach Scott Hyatt.
Coach, we had a 3-minute half essentially, and your defense, hey, they got the interception that didn't allow for Warren to score, but your offense still moving the ball quite nicely.
Yeah, we moved it nicely till we got down there inside the 10, and we just, had a couple of busted assignments, and they're playing great defense. They're playing hard-nosed football.
Well, now it's something different now because you come out of a delay that was an hour and 15 minutes. Now you go back in for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, we just got to go in, try to make some adjustments, and get our mind refocused on what's going on out here because, we got to kick off to these dudes, and obviously you can see they can make big plays real quick.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
That was Coach Scott Hyatt. His Boonville Bearcats will head to the locker room with a 14-0 lead over the Warren Lumberjacks in this 4A championship game. Boonville 14-0 on the season, looking to make it 15-0, and they're off to a very good start here in this first half, Trey.
He said we got to kick off to these dudes to start the second half. I love it. I love it. But, no, it's a start, Bob, that Boonville wanted. Obviously, they'd like to be up 21-0 right now, but as he said, they kind of stalled a little bit. That's twice that Warren's defense, Bob, on opening drives. If you think back to that opening drive of the game by Boonville, Warren's defense bent, but they never broke. Okay, you go in for an hour and 15, you come back out. Boonville's able to continue a drive on a fourth down play. Your defense bent, but it never broke. Your offense had a chance to score, and I thought they had a chance for 2 shots at the end zone there. The one where they threw it up, if the receiver just tries to play defense for a second and keep the ball away from the corner who ended up making the interception, they're going to get another play where they'll have another chance to throw it up into the end zone. But, Bob, Drake Jones has to know the situation. You've got to know where to put the football. You put it where only your guy can catch it, or it goes out of bounds and it's incomplete. On 2 plays, he should have been picked off on the first play of that drive, and he wasn't. But you've got to know where to put the football in situations like that, and I think that's something that Bo Embry might talk to his quarterback about during half.
Well, this is a Warren Lumberjack team that has been dominated in almost every statistical category in the first half. They go to the locker room. They got to be thankful they're only down 14-0. They're a team that averages almost 37 points a game. So if they can go in, make some adjustments, they're going to get the ball to start the second half. They can get right back in this football game. We need to take a break. We'll be back with more of our Arkansas Storm Shelter's halftime report. You're listening to the 4A championship game driven by Fletcher Kia on the Buzz Radio Network. 14-0, Boonville leads here at halftime. If you're just joining us, Boonville scored on 2 touchdown runs by Bryson May in the first half, 1 from 3 yards, 1 from 5 yards out, and they lead this football game 14-0. We're just now at halftime. The game kicked at 5 after 7, but we encountered a hour and 15-minute lightning delay with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the second quarter. And then we've come out, completed the second quarter, and we're now at halftime. And this has been a ball game that the Boonville Bearcats have imposed their will on the Warren Lumberjacks tonight. We'll give you some quick statistics. Time of possession tonight, 19-10 for Boonville, just 4 minutes and 50 seconds in the ball game for the Warren Lumberjacks. 41 plays, 211 yards for the Boonville Bearcats. 20 plays, 111 yards for Warren. 14 first downs to 5 for Boonville. Boonville rushed it for all 211 yards and didn't attempt to pass in the first half. And the Warren Lumberjacks, 4 carries in the first half for 19 yards. Boonville was 3 of 7 on third down. Warren 0 for 3 on third down conversions and 0 for 1 on fourth down conversions. Individually, the leading rusher in first half for the Warren Lumberjacks was Michael Jones. Drake Jones, the quarterback, 3 carries, 20 yards. And the leading rusher for the Boonville Bearcats, Cody Harrell, fine quarterback, 14 carries for 70 yards. Bryson May, 13 carries for 70 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, and Matt Berry carried it 10 times for 43 yards.
And, Bob, how about Bryson May with the 2 touchdown runs? One diving for the end zone in the south end zone, the other in the north end zone in the second quarter. Just pure second effort, able to get him into pay dirt for the Boonville Bearcats. And real service, real people, that's Farm Bureau Insurance. Visit their White County offices in Searcy at 501 East Booth Road and 2117 West BB Caps, and in Beebe at 1907 West DeWitt Henry Drive.
Well, if you're Bo Embry and you're in the locker room at halftime with your football team trailing 14-0, You haven't really been able to effectively stop the running game of a very potent Boonville Bearcat offense, and your offense on the other side of the football has struggled picking up first downs. You've had several drop footballs. The weather's not in your favor. You're a throwing team. The rain continues to come down here at War Memorial Stadium. What do you tell your guys to get back in this football game?
Well, I think one thing, Bob, is you go back to that last drive that they just had with 35 seconds to go and how they were able to march the football down the field. But you have to get into Drake Jones and explain to him that, look, we cannot have you throwing interceptions. We have to hold on to the football. We've got to get first downs. If you can do that, you're getting the ball to start the second half. If you can make it a 7-point ball game, Bob, early in the third quarter, give your team a little bit of confidence, let your defense see that the offense can go out there and put points up on this Boonville Bearcat football team, then does that start to set a little bit of doubt into the mind of the Boonville defense? The fact that Warren, okay, they obviously made adjustments during that hour and 15 minutes when they were in there. They didn't think they would have to come out and run a 2-minute offense, but they did. They ran it to perfection except for the interception. So do you try and run a 2-minute offense? The only problem with that is if you don't convert and you don't pick up first downs, guess what? You're giving the ball right back to the Bearcats, and they're going to hold on to it. They've held the football, Bob, for 19 minutes and 10 seconds of the first half. Of the 24 minutes in a half, they've held it for 19 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, you can't continue to ask your defense to stay out there for that length of time and to get a team that's as efficient running the football as Boonville is off the field. You got to turn to your offense. They've got to be able to move the football and pick up some first downs. Only 5 first downs in that first half for Warren. So we'll see if they can make some adjustments. Warren will get the football to start the second half, and they definitely need to go down and get some points on the scoreboard. We've seen them over the last few years, Trey. This is a very good offense. They've struggled tonight with a fine Boonville defense and the inclement weather that we've encountered here tonight. But this is a team, like I said, that averages 37 points per ball game, so they can score the football. They just need to get some momentum going offensively.
And I think that's the thing. If they can get some momentum going, Bob, it's going to be an exciting game in the second half, I think. I think if they can get the momentum, put points on the board, and then get their defense out there and stop Boonville to where they can make it a game, maybe tie it up, make it a 4-point game, whatever they can do. Obviously, it's going to give them a shot of confidence on their sideline, and they won't be so down. And, hey, if you can come back out and you can tie it up with 2 possessions, I think what that does for the momentum to start the second half, it all switches to the home side, the west side of the stadium here, and that's where the Warren Lumberjack faithful are.
This is the 4th of 6 championship ball games over 2 weekends here at War Memorial Stadium. Last weekend on Friday night, Bentonville knocked off Cabot to win the 7A championship 39-28. And then on Saturday, El Dorado defeated Pine Bluff for the 6A championship. What was that, the 5th championship in 6 years, or 4th in 5? In 5 years for Coach Scott Reed and his El Dorado Wildcats. Marlton in a classic game, they held on and beat Batesville 27-24 in the 5A championship. Batesville missing a 37-yard field goal as time expired in that football game. And 2 more ball games to come here tomorrow. And at noon, we'll have the 2A championship, Junction City and Des Arc. That's a 2008 rematch of the classic game where Junction City snapped the football against Des Arc down here in the north end zone on the far hash mark with 0.3 of a second left. They make a 27-yard field goal and defeated the Des Arc Eagles 10-8. And then last year, Junction City once again, the play in the end zone on the last play of the ball game to beat arch rival Bearden to win another title. So that should be a terrific ball game at noon. And then tomorrow night, the finale, the 3A championship. Glen Rose, who was here last year, they lost in the final seconds to Harding Academy. They'll take on the Charleston Tigers at 6:30. And Ty Story, the Arkansas commit, the junior quarterback that I had a chance to see up at Harding Academy a few weeks ago, and he is terrific. He's got a big arm. So if you're anywhere in the central Arkansas area, you want to get out tomorrow and watch those 2 fine football games here at the stadium.
Make sure
bring your rain gear early.
I was going to say, make sure to bring your rain gear.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I mean, the AAA has not been able to catch a break with the weather. The ice storms moved in a couple of weeks ago that delayed the finals for 7A, 6A, and 5A, and then the semifinals for Class 2, 3, and 4A for a week. And we come back last weekend. The cold weather moved in, the pouring rain on Friday night, the cold weather on Saturday, and then tonight, rain and lightning that delayed this football game for an hour and 15 minutes. So tough break with the weather, and the crowds have suffered here this year. And, it's tough for the schools that are involved. We talked to Lance Taylor before the football game, and he said, 40% of the gate goes to each respective school. So it really hurts when their fans, such last Friday night, the Bentonville fans couldn't get down here. So it hurts them with the gate.
Yeah, and the question I have there is, Bob, is the AAA gives each institution tickets early on in the week, and they can take them back to the school and sell them. They're actually cheaper if they buy them through the school, the pre-sale. So if they bought a ticket, it's sold. That's a ticket sold. So that's what they count. They don't count the people that show up. But I think it's the ticket sold. And there's some more lightning. Let's hope that it's not within 10 miles of the stadium.
We need to take a break. We'll be back with more of our Arkansas Storm Shelter's halftime report. Boonville leads the Warren Lumberjacks here in the 4A championship 14-0.
Welcome back to War Memorial Stadium as the teams start to make their way back onto the field after halftime. Every day is game day at Frank Fletcher Kia on South University in Little Rock. Fletcher Kia will beat anybody's deal on a new Kia. Shop Fletcher Kia before you buy anywhere else. Bob White, Trey Schapp, R.J. Hawk down on the sideline.
Warren Lumberjacks have made their way back out of the tunnel in the north end zone. The Boonville Bearcats out of their respective tunnel down in the south end of the field, and both of them doing their stretching exercises. And the Warren Lumberjacks find themselves trailing in this football game 14-0, a game that Boonville has pretty much dominated. They've had 19 minutes of possession time to about 4 minutes and 50 seconds for Warren. Boonville's picked up 14 first downs to just 5 for the Lumberjacks. And the Warren Lumberjacks are going to get it to start the second half, and they need something positive to happen offensively if they're going to get back in this football game.
Yeah, it's got to happen fast, Bob.
The rain continues to come down, not quite as heavy as it was late in that second quarter. We had an hour and 15-minute lightning delay if you're just joining us. That's why we're just now at halftime, and this ball game kicked at 7:05, and the only two scores of the first half were both touchdown runs by Boonville's Bryson May. He scored in the first quarter from 3 yards out off left tackle as he dove and stretched the ball across the goal line for the first score of the game, and then midway through that second quarter he scored on a 5-yard touchdown run, and that's where we stand at halftime, 14-0. The Boonville Bearcats lead over Warren. Warren is a football team that they had a couple of opportunities, Trey, to move the football in the first half, but they just had drops with their fine wide receiver core. Their quarterback, Drake Jones, you couldn't have asked for more from him through that first quarter and a half. He put the ball on the money, but Darvian Brown along with Jalen Marshall and Thomas each dropped a pass that would have given that Warren Lumberjack football team a first down.
No, you're exactly right, Bob. And there were times when the rain was coming down and they continued to throw the football, and some of their receivers were wearing gloves, and then they switched to without the gloves, and they just couldn't keep their hands dry. And I think it caused them problems.
We owe you one more break here at halftime. This halftime report brought to you by Arkansas Storm Shelters. They're the proud sponsor of high school sports here in the state of Arkansas. They offer a statewide service and 100% financing on an extensive line of storm shelters. See their full product line at arkansastormshelter.com or call Jared at 855-967-SAFE. That's 855-967-SAFE. And you never know when inclement weather is going to hit. Reports of a possible tornado down around Redfield tonight. So give Jared a call And don't wait till the spring when tornado season hits in full force, because you're probably going to be backed up and not be able to get the storm shelter in time. So give them a call at 855-967-SAFE.
Both teams making their way back out onto the sidelines now as we're under a minute to go to start the second half, and I don't think RJ is going to be able to catch up with Bo. RJ?
Yeah, Coach, I went over and he said, I don't have time to talk right now. We got work to do.
All right. He's trying to get his guys loose for the second half. And, Bob, they have the ball to start the second half to the Warren Lumberjacks.
Yep, and they need a nice drive. They've gotten inside Boonville territory twice in the first half, unable to get points out of either drive. The last one ended in an interception by Matt Berry in the secondary for Boonville back into the second quarter. They're going to get the football to start the second half, and they need to march it down the field and put points on the board. The officiating crew tonight that's had to deal with this bad weather. The referee is Stacy Sloat, Jerry Wright, the umpire, Chip Johnson, the linesman, Jeff Ray, the line judge, and Benny Shepard Jr., the back judge. We are just about set for second half action. This kickoff brought to you by Audio Express with 3 locations around the state, Searcy, Conway, and Fayetteville. They've got the finest in home and car audio and video. If you want to check them out on the web at audioexpressarkansas.com. Rain continues to come down. We've seen some lightning flashes off in the distance, but not within the 10-mile radius, so we are set to play the second half. Warren picks it up off the turf at the 25, returned across the 30 out to the 36-yard line, and that's where the Warren Lumberjacks will have the football to start the second half. Trailing Boonville by a score of 14-0.
I know RJ talked about it last week, but it's got to be annoying to be a football player on the field and have the PA announcer talking over the game action as it's going on.
Don't normally hear that. On first down, quarterback Drake Jones keeps it straight ahead, and RJ talked about Coach Bo Emery toward the end of the half told him, hey, we're going to try to step the running game up a little bit with our quarterback on some quarterback draws.
Well, now he's got to come out because he lost his helmet.
Yeah, he was slammed to the turf. His helmet popped off. And so Justin Gorman will check in at quarterback for the Warren Lumberjacks for one play as Drake Jones will come to the sideline and strap his helmet on. Second down and 8. Pump fake, looking to throw, and it's almost intercepted. It was in and out of the hands of Matt Berry. He jumped the route down at the 40-yard line. Had he held on to that football, it was a pick six.
It would have been a pick six, and that's how important it is that Drake Jones keeps his helmet on, Bob. Wow. That would have been a pick six.
Well, Bo Emery brings in the backup, and he doesn't hesitate to throw the football, and luckily it was in and out of the hands of the defender. On 3rd and 9, Drake Jones under pressure, and he's going to be sacked back at the 32-yard line. Pressure came from the far side. They got to the quarterback and give Dalton Gray, the tackle, 6'4", 240, credit for quarterback sack.
And Warren's going to have to punt the football a quick 3 and out by the Lumberjacks, Bob.
Well, we talked about how important it was for Warren to get some momentum offensively and get points on that first drive. The Boonville defense steps up, does their job, and it's another 3 and out. So Gorman will kick it away, and it's a high spiral. It's going to turn over and hit down at the 30-yard line. Bounds dead down around the 28. Neither one of these football teams are wanting to handle this wet football in the rain. So
Do you blame them?
No, they just back away, and smart job of Matt Berry of getting out of the way of that football. So the clock stopped with 10:27 to play, third quarter, 14-0. Boonville on top of Warren. Wonder when the last time the Lumberjacks were shut out in a half of football.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Both of these teams have thrown shutouts this year. Boonville 3 shutouts. Warren 3 as well.
Warren only had 10 defenders out there, had to rush a man out there right at the last minute. That was LaFoy Smith, the defensive end, that got on the field as they snapped the football. No gain on the play. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10, and now then the official has stopped play.
Injury on the far side of the field, Bob. And
got a Boonville Bearcat down out around the 40-yard line. Let's check in with RJ on the sideline for Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report.
Guys, I can't see who the injured player is, but it happened right after the wide receiver, and I don't have my roster with me, but number 1 for Warren, they got in a little tussle on the far side of the field, and he got thrown to the turf, and it looks like he's up now. But
Cody Simpson, they're split in.
Yeah, he's favoring that knee. Also, guys, I walked out to midfield prior to the half, or right at halftime, and it is like a pond right in the middle of the field. I had water coming up over the top of my boots.
Where's your fishing pole?
It's in the truck, but I'm taking it to Texas tomorrow.
2nd down and 10, Bearcats out at their own 29-yard line. They lead this football game 14-0. 10 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. 2 backs in the backfield behind quarterback Cody Harrell. And we've got a flag on the play, thrown by the side judge on the far side of the field.
Dead ball. Defense in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
So that is the 6th penalty against the Warren Lumberjacks tonight for 24 yards. And Boonville hadn't had any trouble moving the football on the ground. You sure don't want to give them a free 5 yards.
No. No, you would have much rather had it 2nd and 9.
So on 2nd down and 4, handoff straight ahead to Matt Berry, and Berry crosses the 35 and stopped there after a short gain of about 2 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 3, and Lumberjack defense needs to come up with a big stop here and get their offense the football back.
Bo Emery has been all over these officials tonight.
Ball spotted on the far hash mark as Boonville moves from south to north at War Memorial Stadium. 1 wide out split to the near side. They're going to hand it right side, and they've got the 1st down across the 40. Still on his feet out at the 45-yard line. Tough running by Justin Shackelford. 5'10", 181 pounds. He's their leading tackler on defense, and he is a tough, hard-nosed runner out of that offensive backfield. His 2nd carry of the night. And he's averaging 12 yards a carry. So the gain will give Boonville a 1st down out at their own 45-yard line, and the time of possession just keeps mounting for this Boonville offensive ground attack. They keep it on the ground once again. They reach the 48-yard line. Picked up 3, 2nd down and 7, 8.5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter.
Bob, we said time of possession going into the game would be a big factor, and boy, so far Boonville, they are just controlling the time of possession.
They're content to huddle up, take their time, breaking the huddle with about 13 or 14 seconds on the play clock. They come to the line of scrimmage, and they'll snap it with about 5 seconds left. Play action fake. They're going to take a shot downfield. They got a man open, and they got a completion down at the Warren 35-yard line. What a play action fake. Warren biting on the dive play, and they fake it to the tailback and hit Matt Berry out of the backfield for the completion.
First pass of the game for the Boonville Bearcats. And he goes for 17 yards.
Actually, that was Damon May with the reception for the 1st down. They set it up perfectly. They've run the football all night long. They fake it. And Cody Harrell found Damon May down the sideline for a nice gain and a 1st down. Now they come right back with Justin Shackelford off right tackle. He picked up 2, reached the 33-yard line.
There's really nothing fancy with this Boonville Bearcat offense, Bob. I mean, you can know what they're going to do, but it's like last week with Cabot that Bentonville was able to stop Cabot Warren hadn't been able to stop Boonville, though.
Yep, this is a Boonville offensive line that averages about 235 yards a man up front. So they're a big offensive line, and they run it downhill. And what's scary, Trey Schapp, next year they're moving down to Class 3A. And they're going to be in the same conference with Charleston. Think that might be a battle next year?
Just a little bit. But you meant 230 pounds, though, right, instead of yards?
Yeah, 230 pounds, I'm sorry. Bryson May carried the football. He got down to the 26-yard line.
I know it's late, Bob. You're getting tired. But, hey, Mr. Crass said he's already got a bed waiting on you. That way you don't have to drive to Searcy and come back once you get there.
3rd down and a yard. They hand it right side. They've got the first down and more inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. That was Bryson May that got the call. A Lumberjack lost his helmet, so he'll have to come out for a play.
Apparently he thought that the helmet came off because it was ripped off of him.
That was Aaron Church, whose helmet came off, the junior defensive tackle for Warren. Hey, this big offensive front for Boonville, they've done their job. They've won the battle at the line of scrimmage. And their offensive backfield has done a number on this Warren defense. The quarterback is going to keep it right side. He stumbled as he got to the 20-yard line, dives back to the original line of scrimmage. That was Cody Harrell that kept the football.
It's another penalty flag in there. It's going to be holding against Boonville. Bo Embry decides to accept the penalty. He kind of threw his hands up like finally they called a hold.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Second penalty of the night against Boonville for 15 yards, and that'll move them back out to the 29-yard line. They're going to be facing first down and 20. They wind the clock with 6:20 to play here in the third quarter. This Bearcat offense content to run the clock. They lead 14-0. Inside reverse goes to Berry, and Berry stacked up and stopped for maybe a gain of a yard down at the 28. And a nice job of defensively staying at home over there was Peyton Hargis along with DeQuan Daniels.
And, Bob, I know that Warren hasn't really had a lot of success offensively except for the one drive there right before the half. But if they can get their defense to hold the Bearcats right here, they're only down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, for the first time tonight, it looks like the rain has quit here at the stadium. Second down and 19. Handoff left side. Shackelford on the carry inside the 25 down to the 23. He's well shy of the first down, so he needs to get to the Warren 8 to pick up a first down.
They've got a player down. He looked like when he went down,
it's a Lumberjack defender that is shaking up. Bo Embry and the training staff are out to administer to the injured player, and that'll give us a chance to check in with RJ on the sideline for Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report.
Bob, I think you jinxed the rain because it's all back. It's coming back, and it's now slanted, and the wind is really starting to pick up down here. That's one thing we haven't really had to mess with throughout the ball game was the wind, but it's actually starting to pick up a little bit as the game goes on, and that just means it goes to slanted rain, so my umbrella doesn't work as well.
They're going to need the cart. It's going to be a while. Let's take a break, Bob.
We'll send it back to the studio for a quick break as they administer to a injured Warren Lumberjack down on the field. You're listening to the 4A Championship, driven by Fletcher Key on the Buzz Radio Network. War Memorial Stadium, where we are still in the middle of a timeout for an injury, as Peyton Hargis is the injured Warren Lumberjack as they administer him down on the field. They've got the cart out, and they're being very cautious to make sure that they get him strapped down for precautionary reasons. His family has come down onto the field, and let's head down to RJ and get a report, Farm Bureau Insurance sideline report.
I guess RJ has his earpiece out right now.
You there, RJ?
He can't hear us right now.
The wind's picked up, and he can't hear us, so we'll give him a moment to I think.
Now he's got us, I believe. RJ?
Guys, looks like it's an injury to his back, and they're taking all precautionaries right now. There's no word on what is going on right now. They brought both his parents on the field and basically instructed what's going on with him and which hospital he's going to head to. And as you said, it was Peyton Hargis who is the injured player right now. So his parents are on the field, and they're telling him where to go. Also, just got word that it looks like they may be shutting this ball game down here in just a second because of the lightning back in the area. Just talking with an official with the game, and he said that unless it moves out here pretty quick, we have a chance to have this game shut down and delayed once again.
Peyton Hargis, as he's on the cart, Bob, he was just raising his right arm, waving to the crowd, and they were being very, very cautious with him. He just giving a thumbs up there. So he hears everything and knows what's going on, and they're going to, I would assume, either take him to Children's or UAMS, very here close by. And they are going to suspend play because of lightning again. So what we are going to do, there's 5 minutes and 15 seconds left to play in the third quarter. It is 14-0, Boonville over Warren. And what we're going to do is send you back to the studio and ESPN Radio, and we will come back and hopefully be able to finish this game out sometime. We will finish it out sometime tonight, Bob.
Yep. They got to get this one in. They're committed to staying here as long as we have to. We got 2 more ball games tomorrow. They're calling for bad weather, especially in the morning and through mid-afternoon. So very important that we try to get this one in, and I think the AAA staff is going to do whatever they can to make that happen tonight.
All right, so we will send it back to the studio. Damon Poole and HB have been doing a great job tonight, adjusting on the fly as we have had to. And so we'll send it back to the studio, ESPN Radio. We'll be back on the air when we can, and we will just stay tuned to 103.7 The Buzz and the Buzz Radio Network, and we will have updates throughout ESPN Radio, and we'll be back when the teams return to the field.
2 lightning delays that are approaching 2.5 hours total.
Bob, the only time I can remember 2 delays in a game like this involved the Arkansas Razorbacks in Tennessee when the first year of Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, the expanded Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, when they expanded to 72,000. Obviously, when they played Kentucky, was it last year? They basically called the game because of weather that was not moving in and was not moving out of the area, the Lightning. But this is a state championship game, and they're going to play this game until there's a final. And we've got 5 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the third quarter, and still a whole nother fourth quarter. Bob, it's feasible that this game might not end until 11:30 if Warren can put points on the board. And if they can stop Boonville, it's going to be 3rd and 14 for the Boonville Bearcats at their own, or at the Warren 23-yard line. So it's once again, Bob, another big play for Warren as they come out of a lightning delay.
Exactly. And looking at the radar, I think we might finally be catching a break, Trey. Yeah. It looks like most of the weather has moved to the north and northeast of the metropolitan Little Rock area. So once we get this game back underway, it looks as if we're going to be able to get it in. And you're right, Warren needs to do something to get some momentum in this football game. And the Boonville Bearcats have imposed their will. They've possessed the football for 19 minutes and 10 seconds tonight to only 6:23 for the Warren Lumberjacks. Boonville's got 17 first down to only 5 for Warren. And 264 yards total offense tonight on 51 plays, just 23 plays for 107 yards for the Lumberjacks, and that is totally uncharacteristic of Bo Emery's offensive unit. They had a couple chances in the first half. They dropped a couple of passes in that heavy rain that would have given them first downs. And they just hadn't been able to get anything going tonight offensively, and the defense has had to be on the field for most of the way. And this big offensive front from Boonville has just done their job. They have dominated the line of scrimmage, and then when you throw in a couple of really nice tailbacks and a quarterback that can run the football, the Boonville Bearcats have fought their way to a 14-0 lead here with 5:15 to play in the third quarter.
And Bob, let's say too, our thoughts are with Peyton Hargis, sophomore defensive end for the Warren Lumberjacks, is just before our last lightning delay, he was carted off of the field, suffered an injury. It appeared to be to his back somehow because he did have movement. They obviously were trying to keep his head, as stationary and as, try to not have any movement with it if they possibly could. So apparently he's been taken to the hospital, and hopefully everything is going good there with him. Yeah,
anytime you have an injury like that down on the field, they are going to be very precautionary, take no chances. They want to make sure that they get the player secured and get him to the hospital and let him be checked out so they don't two lightning delays that are approaching 2.5 hours total.
Bob, the only time I can remember two delays in a game like this involved the Arkansas Razorbacks in Tennessee when the first year of Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, the expanded Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, when they expanded to 72,000. Obviously, when they played Kentucky, was it last year? They basically called the game because of weather that was not moving in and was not moving out of the area, the Lightning. But this is a state championship game, and they're going to play this game until there's a final. And we've got 5 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the third quarter, and still a whole nother fourth quarter. Bob, it's feasible that this game might not end until 11:30 if Warren can put points on the board. And if they can stop Boonville, it's going to be 3rd and 14 for the Boonville Bearcats at their own, or at the Warren 23-yard line. So it's once again, Bob, another big play for Warren as they come out of a lightning delay.
Exactly. And looking at the radar, I think we might finally be catching a break, Trey. Yeah. It looks like most of the weather has moved to the north and northeast of the metropolitan Little Rock area. So once we get this game back underway, it looks as if we're going to be able to get it in. And you're right, Warren needs to do something to get some momentum in this football game. And the Boonville Bearcats have imposed their will. They've possessed the football for 19 minutes and 10 seconds tonight to only 6:23 for the Warren Lumberjacks. Boonville's got 17 first down to only 5 for Warren. And 264 yards total offense tonight on 51 plays, just 23 plays for 107 yards for the Lumberjacks. And that is totally uncharacteristic of Bo Emery's offensive unit. They had a couple chances in the first half. They dropped a couple of passes in that heavy rain that would have given them first downs. And they just hadn't been able to get anything going tonight offensively, and the defense has had to be on the field for most of the way. And this big offensive front from Boonville has just done their job. They have dominated the line of scrimmage, and then when you throw in a couple of really nice tailbacks and a quarterback that can run the football, the Boonville Bearcats have fought their way to a 14-0 lead here with 5:15 to play in the third quarter.
And Bob, let's say too, our thoughts are with Peyton Hargis, sophomore defensive end for the Warren Lumberjacks, is just before our last lightning delay, he was carted off of the field, suffered an injury. It appeared to be to his back somehow because he did have movement. They obviously were trying to keep his head, as stationary and as, try to not have any movement with it if they possibly could. So apparently he's been taken to the hospital, and hopefully everything is going good there with him.
Yeah, anytime you have an injury like that down on the field, they are going to be very precautionary, take no chances. They want to make sure that they get the player secured and get him to the hospital and let him be checked out so they don't cause any further damage. But he did have movement in his extremities and was motioning to the crowd as he left the field. That was a good sign. But as you said, our best wishes to Peyton Hargis as he was taken to a local hospital to be checked out. So the two teams have come to the sidelines now after their 5-minute warm-up period, and we are just about set to resume action here in the third quarter. 5:15 to play, third quarter, 14-0. Boonville on top, and both scores came on touchdown runs from Bryson May, one of 3 yards and one from 5 yards out.
Fletcher Kia will beat anybody's deal on a new Kia for the best prices, best selection, and more for your trade-in. Shop Fletcher Kia on South University in Little Rock. And, Bob, let's say we appreciate those of you staying up with us late tonight through all of the delays. We enjoy bringing you high school championship action. And we just didn't know that we would be here at 10:50 tonight and only be in the third quarter. Now, we knew there was the threat of some weather, and there's the threat tomorrow, too, of even more severe weather. But hopefully we can get through it. But, yeah, Bob, a game that kicked off at 7:05. It's almost, well,
close to 4 hours.
It's 15 minutes away from being a 4-hour football game.
You know, and the bad thing for us tonight was most of this severe weather started down in southwest Arkansas and was heading northeast, so it just followed an I-30 track right up toward the metro Little Rock area and moved through finally. So we should be able to get this football game in as we resume play with 5:15 to play here in the third quarter. 14-0 Boonville leads. They're facing third down and 14 down at the 23-yard line of the Warren Lumberjacks. Cody Harrell keeps it right side. He's being pursued, and he's going to be tackled for a 2-yard loss back at the 25-yard line. So that's going to bring up fourth down and about 16 on the play. And so now Boonville will more than likely go for it, Trey. The line of scrimmage down at the 26, so not much room to punt the football. So they'll just keep the offensive unit out there and see if they can pick up a first down.
Yeah, and they could also take a delay of game here if they wanted to and back up a little bit and then kind of pooch kick, run some time off the clock. But they did go out of bounds, so the clock is not running. The play clock's down to 15 seconds. But, yeah, it looks like the Bearcats will go for it. And they just ran a man off the field, Bob. Yep. I'm surprised that they didn't get called for illegal substitution. And now they're going to be flagged for something.
That flag thrown by the umpire tonight, who is Jerry Reith.
Dead ball. Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
Well, they didn't get the illegal substitution, but they did get Boonville for a false start. So that'll cost them 5, and they'll move it back outside the 30-yard line where it'll bring up fourth down and about 21 on the play.
Well, if you're Warren and you can't stop them on 4th and 21, you've got issues.
So now then, Boonville will bring 4 wideouts into the ball game for the first time of the night. They send a man in motion near side, and Cody Harrell looking to throw. Pump fake, has time. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to reverse his field, gets it away, and he underthrows his intended receiver down at the 20-yard line, and there's penalty markers.
Lineman downfield.
Yep, and ineligible downfield as that play took a long time to develop, and Cody Harrell was just buying time.
I think they decline it. Warren declines it.
Yep, they're going to decline it, and they're going to get the football.
Ineligible receiver downfield for the offense. That penalty is declined. It'll be first down.
Let's give the fans a lot of credit that have stuck it out tonight, too, Trey. This game approaching 4 hours. And
they're more from Boonville sticking around than they are from Warren.
Yep, but the vast majority have stayed around War Memorial Stadium to see this 4A championship game. So here comes Warren, trailing 14-0, 4:45 to play third quarter. 4 wideouts, 2 split to either side. Drake Jones, play action fake. Pass near side, and it is batted away on the near side by Matt Berry, the cornerback. And once again, Drake Jones underthrew the football. He had a man out there that had a step on Matt Berry, and he just underthrew it.
Underthrew it, Bob, and we talked about it. That was the same play they ran that they came out of the first delay with when they got the football, and again, underthrown to his receivers.
One back set. Jones is going to keep it left side, crosses the 35, spins to the 36-yard line. He picked up 6 on the play.
Looks like the same plays that they scripted, Bob, from after the first delay. They're in a hurry-up offense here, though, are the Warren Lumberjacks.
Drake Jones, the leading ball carrier on the night, 6 carries for 22 yards for Warren. On 3rd and 4, inside handoff. They got the first down and more across the 45, midfield, and into Boonville territory at the 46-yard line. A quick hitter that time, and Cox crosses midfield and picks up a big gain. It's 1st and 10 for the Warren Lumberjacks, and they're quickly to the line of scrimmage. The hurry-up, no huddle for Coach Bo Embry. Fast-paced offense. Once again, inside handoff, running room inside the 45, still on his feet. At the 40, push forward to the 38-yard line, and all of a sudden, this Warren offense starting to find a little rhythm. The fans on the near side on their feet, encouraging the Lumberjacks.
Bob, it's almost like they're running a Gus Malzahn type hurry-up offense. They get a first down. They want to run as fast as they can.
Now they fake it to Cox, and they're going to take a shot toward the end zone, and it is off the fingertips of the intended receiver down the near sideline at the 5-yard line. The pass was intended for Jalen Jackson. He had drawn man-to-man coverage out there with Matt Berry, and the quarterback Drake Jones just threw it over his right shoulder, and it was too far toward the boundary.
2nd and 3, though, Bob, you can afford a play like that. 3rd and 3 now, you're in 4-down territory.
Drake Jones has got the first down and more inside the 30, still on his feet at the 25, falls forward to the 23-yard line, and here come the Warren Lumberjacks.
Bo Embry's calling the play in, and they are ready to go.
Picked up 17 on the play, another Warren first down. And now then a stoppage in play.
Boonville calls timeout.
Yeah.
Good job, good use of a timeout here by Scott Hyatt.
Yeah,
Bob, to try and slow the momentum.
He didn't like the momentum that Warren is displaying offensively, so he'll burn a timeout, and that'll give us a chance to check in with R.J. Hawk on the sideline for a Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report.
Guys, momentum seems like it's out of the timeout or the delay is all with Warren right now, and this offense, you can tell now that the rain's kind of let up and things have dried out a little bit, this offense is back to normal. They're back to being able to throw and catch the football. That's something they weren't able to do earlier in the ball game.
Well, this is a Warren football team that has averaged 37 points a ball game throughout the year. They put up almost 400 yards of total offense, and they have really struggled tonight. 29 plays for 154 yards, but this drive, they're starting to get a little rhythm going out there, and Drake Jones has led them down to the Boonville 23-yard line. They're going to hand it near side, and that's got to be a horse collar tackle, and they didn't get the call. Drug out of bounds down at the 21-yard line.
Are they going to say that he didn't have inside the shoulder pad, but they just had the jersey? That is definition of a horse collar.
Yep. Cox was the ball carrier. He was slung out of bounds after a short gain, and here comes Warren quickly the other way. Drake Jones inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. He's going to be very near a first down. It looks like he may be about a half a yard shy.
I think he's just shy. But obviously, 3rd and short here, you can just put him under center and let him get the first down. But he's going to stay in shotgun formation.
Yep, picked up 7, needed 7.5. He handles a low snap, gives it to his tailback Cox straight ahead. He's got the first down and more inside the 5 near the 4-yard line.
I like the change of pace by Bo Embry, Bob. He saw that 2-minute offense worked earlier when they came out of the delay. He's going right back to it here.
Springs made the tackle, but not before they picked up a first and goal, and they hand it straight ahead, and Cox has got the touchdown from 5 yards out. And with 2:22 to play in the third quarter, the Warren Lumberjacks are on the scoreboard. They trail 14-6 as they march it down the field for the first points of the night. They're an extra point away from making this a 14-7 ball game.
Bob, it only took them 3 hours and 55 minutes to get their first points in this game.
Cortez extra point attempt is up, and it is no good. He missed it wide left, so the score will remain 14-6. Let's check in with RJ for a sideline report brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance in Searcy.
Well, I tell you guys, Bo Embry and his staff, all the momentum right there, come down to get a touchdown, and then he misses the extra point. Bo Embry walked over to his kicker and just shook his head like, really? I mean, if it could go wrong, it's gone wrong here in the early going of this ball game, or really the first 3 hours and 50 minutes. So, yeah,
RJ's been up forever, you can tell.
Yeah, hey, you know what, though? Like you said earlier, we love high school football and enjoy doing this. And so, hey, this is a new ball game, boys. I tell you, this could get fun here in the fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, it's hard to imagine. We're still 2 minutes and 22 seconds away from the fourth quarter, Bob.
Wow.
Can we petition to Mr. Acree for overtime pay on this one? Because, normal game is maybe 3 hours.
I think we deserve time and a half, don't you?
I agree. I mean, I was prepared for the day to be a long one, just not this long.
So the Warren Lumberjacks now trail 14-6. This kickoff brought to you by Audio Express, and a high directional kick to the near sideline, fair caught by Boonville's Bryson May out at the 37-yard line. So that's where the Bearcats will have it first down and 10, and let's see how they respond. They led 14-0. Warren has scored and has the momentum. Let's see if the Bearcats can move the football on the ground and pick up some first downs here toward the end of the third quarter. 2:22 to play, third quarter, 14-6 Boonville. Cody Harrell calling the signals up under center. Sends a man in motion near side, and he's going to keep the football. Gets to the 40, makes a man miss in the open field at midfield. Crosses into Warren territory down to the 47-yard line. Big run by Cody Harrell. He picks up 17 on the play.
Nice hard run that time. And, Bob, he likes contact.
He sure doesn't shy away from it, does he?
No.
5'11", 180-pound senior quarterback. Thrown it just 38 times on the year, but he can really run the football. He ran it for about 1,400 yards on the season. They've got a first down at the Warren 47-yard line. They pitch it right side, running room at the 35 to the far sideline, 40, 35, 30, inside the 30, and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. That time the pitch went to Josh Smith, the junior tailback.
That's just some hard running there.
Just his third carry of the night, and that was a big one. He's got 34 on the night. 21 came on that play, and another Boonville first down. Well, we wondered how they would respond offensively after Warren got on the scoreboard, and they're showing us that they are just going to go back to the running game and put a hat on a hat and run the football. They move toward the north end zone. Ball on the right hash at the 25-yard line. Handoff straight ahead, not much running room, maybe a yard to the 24, and we got a penalty marker on the play.
12 men on the field again. This is where their drive stalled the last time, Bob.
It's a dead ball foul. Illegal substitution against the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, it happened, Trey, on the previous series, and they didn't get caught. They had 12 men on the field as they broke the huddle once again, and this time it cost them 5 back to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, and that's where they had a penalty earlier before that stalled a drive, and so let's see if this one stalls a drive.
One back set, they'll send a man in motion. That's Josh Smith. The quarterback, Harrell's going to keep it, dives to the 28-yard line. He picked up about 2 yards on the play. He got 2 of the 5 that they lost back on the penalty, so it's going to bring up second down and 13, a minute and a half to play third quarter. Boonville leads the 4A championship game 14-6 over the Warren Lumberjacks. Boonville 14-0 on the season. Out of the 4A conference, And they have played a picture-perfect football game here tonight. Play clock at 6. They snap it with 3. Not much running room for Josh Smith off the left tackle. He's stacked up for no gain at the line of scrimmage. They'll mark it down at about the 28-yard line, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 13.
Bob, you can sense all the momentum switching to the side of the Warren Lumberjacks here at War Memorial Stadium. The penalty just stalling that drive for Boonville. It's 3rd and 13.
They've been successful with Cody Harrell running the option play tonight. Let's see if they do it again here, and they're not going to get the opportunity because the line judge on the far side of the field has thrown a penalty marker.
It's on Warren, I believe.
Dead ball.
Well, the clock continued to run.
Dead ball. Defense lining up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty.
Bo Emery out on the field asking them to put time back on the clock as they wound the clock through the penalty, and the referee's not going to pay much attention now that they're going to stop it and talk it over.
Wow, this is...
It's been reset to 33 seconds. Thank you.
So they'll put 10 seconds back on the clock as they wound it through the administering of the penalty. Now then they'll wind it, and Boonville will have to snap it one more time here in the 3rd quarter. They're facing 3rd down and about 8. Play action fake. Harrell has it, and is it intercepted? It was batted in the secondary, and the Warren Lumberjacks come away with an interception. The ball was batted by the safety, and a diving interception by the Lumberjacks is going to give Warren the football with 16 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Wow, that's the way to stop a drive right there. The ball hit off of a player. I mean, it was a rocket pass. Hit off of the linebacker, Kendrick Newton, and then it was picked off, I believe, by Darvian Brown.
So here comes Drake Jones running it on 1st down across the 20 out to the 25-yard line. He picked up 6 yards, and that's going to be the final play of the 3rd quarter with the Boonville Bearcats on top of the Warren Lumberjacks by a score of 14-6. We'll take a break. Be back with the 4th quarter. You're listening to the 4A championship game driven by Fletcher Key on the Buzz Radio Network. 12 minutes to play in this 4A championship game. Boonville owns a 14-6 lead, and Warren facing 2nd down and 4 out at their 25-yard line. Drake Jones carries once again right up the middle out to the 28. He's going to be about a half a yard shy of the 1st down. He needs the 29 to pick it up. And Trey, for the first time since his last lightning delay, lots of energy on the Warren sideline.
Well, I think Bo Embry just said, hey, guys, we're going to go out there. We're going to play fast. This defense, we haven't been able to play fast. Try and go against this defense, and they're trying to play fast right now. And now they had a mistake on 3rd and short.
Lots of movement on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and it looks as if this one's going to go against Warren. Huge penalty. They were facing 3rd.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Trey, they were facing 3rd and less than a yard. Now then it's 3rd and 6.
Penalties, Bob.
Yep.
How many times do they kill drives?
A bunch. And Warren just 3 of 7 tonight on 3rd down conversions, 0 of 1 on 4th down. Now a little confusion. Drake Jones directing traffic out there. Handles a low snap, pump fake, comes near side, and a sliding catch out at the 37-yard line for the 1st down. What a catch by Vonnerit Gonder.
Great catch.
Yeah. The ball was underthrown. His feet went out from under him, and he came back and made the catch to pick up the 1st down anyway. He's the leading receiver tonight for Warren. 5 catches, 71 yards. Inside handoff to Cox. Cox breaks out of the pack across the 40 to the near sideline, and he's slung down out at the 43-yard line. Cox not a very, very big guy, but he's got some quickness. He's only 5'6", 155 pounds. hard guy to find in behind those big offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Picked up 6, 2nd down and 4, and now then we got another stoppage in play. Towel came off of the quarterback, and the referee picks it up, puts it in his pocket. He winds the clock with 10:40 to play in the ball game. Quarterback kept it straight ahead, not much running room, got a yard out to the 44, and there was almost a fumble on the exchange as Cox, I believe, was supposed to get the football, and he didn't hang on to it. And so Drake Jones just had to secure the football and get what he could out of the play. 3rd down and 3. Facing Warren out at their own 44-yard line. 10-10 to play in the ball game, 14-6 Boonville. A ball game that started at 7:05. We've had 2 hours and 25 minutes worth of lightning delays tonight. Low snap. Jones handles it, and his pass is incomplete down at the Boonville 46-yard line. It was overthrown and off the fingertips of his intended receiver.
Bob, the bad snap just ruined the timing.
Yep.
And now Warren's going to punt. But he's lucky that his receiver got a hand on that ball because I think it would have been picked off by Boonville.
Yep. Gonder had run a nice route, was open, but as you said, the low snap disrupted the timing, and Jones couldn't deliver a good ball. So now then Warren will have to punt it away. Standing back at their own 30-yard line. Wobbly kick that's going to be allowed to hit at the 20 and take a big lumberjack roll inside the 10, and it's going to roll dead down at the 7-yard line. So Boonville will have poor field position with 9:41 to play in the football game, and they lead 14-6. Let's check in with RJ on the sideline. Another Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report.
Guys, it just seems like there was some miscommunication on the offensive line on that 3rd down because for Warren anyways, because all the offensive linemen were kind of looking around, and Warren's center actually looked back at the quarterback and kind of shrugged his shoulders like, what's going on? Nobody really knew what was going on in the play.
Well, if you look at the stat board, you wouldn't believe that Warren would be in this football game, but they are. They only trail by 1 score, and they need their defense to come up with a big stand here. Quarterback keeps it, Harrell, across the 10, out to the 11-yard line. He picked up 4 yards on the play. That's been a very effective play running the football tonight for Boonville.
Very effective.
Cody Harrell, 18 carries, 88 yards on the night. Bryson May, 17 carries for 89 yards.
Now a timeout for, it looks like that, Harold lost a shoe. And he takes off a sock.
Official gives him time to relace. Now he'll wind the clock. 9:18 and counting here in the football game. 14-6 Boonville. Boonville's had the football for 26.5 minutes tonight to only 11:20 for the Warren Lumberjacks. 2nd down and let's call it 7 out at the 11-yard line. Inside handoff, maybe to the 14-yard line goes Bryson May. Good, tough inside running. He took a big hit.
Yeah, he did, Bob, and that's the thing that I've noticed about this Boonville Bearcat football team and their running backs and even the quarterback, Harold, that they fall forward. Every time it seems like they're falling forward.
They are a very well coached, very disciplined football team. On 3rd and short, they hand it near side. They get out to the 17, maybe the 18-yard line, and that's going to be good enough for another 1st down. Justin Shackelford has been called on tonight to pick up tough, short yardage for Boonville, and he's delivered every time his number's been called.
Has he ever?
4 carries for 30 yards on the night for Shackelford.
Yeah, Boonville would like to keep the football for 8 minutes and win a state championship here.
Each of these 2 schools have won 2 state titles. One of them is going to end up with 3 within the next 30 minutes. Harrell keeps it left side. He's still on his feet at the 30-yard line, 40 down the sideline, still on his feet at midfield, and finally drugged down from behind down at the 37-yard line. Now a penalty marker comes in, it's more than likely going to be a face mask penalty tacked on to the end of the run. What a great job of staying on his feet. He kept his balance. He was hit from the left side and then got popped on the right hip, stayed on his feet, picked up another 25 yards.
There was no face mask there.
It's 15-yard penalty. First down.
He didn't grab the face mask. He grabbed the shoulder pad. That was not a face mask, Bob. I was worried about that. The official that threw the flag had a bad angle on it, and he did not grab the face mask. They showed a replay. He grabbed the shoulder pad.
Well, it's going to cost the Warren defense 15 yards. And Boonville's in business. First down and 10 down at the Warren 22-yard line.
Well, Warren's got to put that behind him, though, and play solid defense here.
Two backs in the backfield. They're going to sweep it to the near side. That's Josh Smith that got the call, and he's got no running room. He's corralled back at the 23, a loss of a yard on the play. This drive, Trey, started back at the 7-yard line after the punt, and in just 5 plays, Boonville has reached the 23-yard line.
And Warren needs to use all their frustration, Bob, at the officials right now, and let the Bearcats feel a little bit of that frustration.
And if you're the Warren defense, you can't allow any points here.
No.
You're trailing by 8 with 7 minutes to play in the football game. Harrell keeps it left side, and he's going to be stopped for no gain. He wanted to cut it up inside. The hole closed. He tried to get to the edge, and the speed of that Warren defense tracked him down.
Well, we've seen Boonville have trouble, Bob, at this part of the football field several times tonight. RJ talked about it earlier, about how the Bearcats, they've only been able to punch it in twice. This Warren defense, they've answered the bell more times than not.
One wide out in the ball game. He comes split to the near side. Ball on the far hash mark. Now they bring a man in motion. Option near side, and they're going to pitch it to the tailback, and he's going to be dropped for a loss back at the 28-yard line, and the Warren defense played it perfect. They knew the option was coming, and they made the quarterback, Harrell, pitch it to Josh Smith, and they had 2 orange jerseys that wrapped him up for another loss on the play.
Well, if you're Boonville now, I think you just throw it up. I think you're not going to punt it, Bob, because you don't want it to go into the end zone, because you gain, 7 yards, 8 yards?
Yeah.
On a punt? They might just let the clock run down and call a timeout.
Play clock is at 10, and
that looks like that's what they're going to do.
That looks like the strategy. They call a timeout with 1 second on the play clock. Game clock is at 5:28, so Coach Scott Hyatt will talk it over with his staff.
Fletcher Kia has the largest selection of new Kias in Central Arkansas and no bogus markups. Every new Kia from Fletcher comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty.
Let's check in with RJ on the sideline. Another Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report. RJ, do you think they go for it here, or are they going to punt it away?
Oh, I think they're gonna end up pooch punting or something like that. I think, anyways. But going back on that face mask penalty, guys, he did grab the face mask. He grabbed the shoulder, but his hand slid across the shoulder and jerked the kid's head around, and that's where he caught the face mask.
So RJ had the same angle down there that the side judge had, and from up here it didn't look like it on our angle from the replay, but nonetheless it cost Warren 15 yards to the end of that play. But their defense has come up big, and they've got Boonville in a 4th and 16 back at the 28-yard line. They will keep the offense out there. Cody Harrell operating out of the shotgun. Looking to throw, rolling to his left, being pressured. Takes a shot toward the end zone, and it is batted around and incomplete. He had a man out there. The ball was underthrown. And give credit to Warren's Chris Oliver, the corner on the far side. He got a hand on the football and batted it just out of the reach of Damon May.
Even if they would have caught it, though, Bob, the play would.
Holding. Holding against the offense. Penalties decline. Be first down, Warren.
So the defense does their job after they gave up the big run to Cody Harrell. They tacked on the 15-yard penalty to the end, and the defense comes up huge, and they turn it over on downs. And Warren will have another opportunity, trailing 14-6 with 5:21 to play in the ball game.
Yeah,
you got to capitalize.
You got to get two. You're right.
May be your last chance to handle the football offensively. Drake Jones across the middle, threw into double coverage, and it's incomplete. He was trying to find Chris Oliver across the middle. Actually, no, that was number 7, Darvian Brown.
Why throw into double coverage there, though, Bob? You had single coverage on the outside.
I agree with you. Didn't check down to the proper option, and he threw into double coverage. On 2nd and 10, comes near side, and the ball is almost intercepted by Josh Smith. He cut in front of the receiver out at the 37-yard line, and Warren is lucky that Josh Smith didn't hang on to the football.
Well, it looks like right now that Drake Jones is just locking in on one receiver, Bob, from the snap and staring him down, and the safeties and corners of Boonville are reading his eyes.
Drake Jones has thrown for over 2,200 yards on the season. They need a big play, and they hand it to Cox on the draw play. He's got the first down across the 40, out to the 44-yard line. They ran the delayed draw, and they opened a big hole on the right side, and they pick up 14 and a first down.
Wow. What a play call. The delayed draw, and they pick up a first down on 17 yards.
On first down, Drake Jones pump fake, comes near side. He's got Gonder out there, backpedaling at the 23-yard line, and he's out of bounds at the 21. Nice throw and catch. And the Warren Lumberjacks are in business, 1st and 10 at the Boonville 21-yard line.
Bob, it was a double move that time. They've been coming to the out. This time it was an out and up, and what a beautiful football thrown by Drake Jones.
They pick up 34 on the play. 1st and 10, Lumberjacks. Cox right up the middle. He's got running room at the 15, the 10, the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Warren. Calais Cox takes it in from 21 yards out. And the Warren Lumberjacks are within 2 of tying this football game with 4:47 to play.
If they tie it up here, Bob, look out.
Oh, my.
Wow.
So they'll go for 2. They missed the extra point on the last touchdown, so they'll keep the offense out there. The low snap, quarterback keeps it straight ahead, diving for the end zone. He didn't get there. They stopped him at the 1-yard line. Once again, a low snap disrupted the play, and the Boonville defense stops the 2-point conversion. 14-12 Boonville. Back after this, you're listening to the 4A Championship driven by Fletcher Key on the Buzz Radio Network. Comes Warren with the onside kick, and nobody touches it on the far side for Boonville, and the ball skips into the Boonville bench area down at the 41-yard line.
That's where they'll take it.
That's where they're going to take it. That's going to be great field position. A little surprised with 3 timeouts remaining, Trey, that they didn't go ahead and elect to kick it deep.
I am too. So maybe they thought they could get them off guard.
So you give Boonville great field position out at the 41-yard line, and after this play, we'll check in with RJ down
illegal
the sideline.
Procedure on the kick. The ball was spotted at where it went out of bounds. First down.
So Boonville leading 14-12 with 4:47 to go in the ball game. They need the offense to pick up a couple of first downs. Harrell up under center, hands it straight ahead. Not much running room, maybe a yard to the 42-yard line. May got the call, and the defense shot the gap, stopped him after a short gain. Let's check in with RJ, a Farm Bureau Insurance and Associates sideline report.
Guys, not sure what they were thinking with the onside kick with 4.5 minutes left in this game. I think the way the defense for Warren's playing right now, you just kick off and get them pinned back deep and then play defense. They played really well tonight.
2nd and 9, Boonville. Line of scrimmage out at the Bearcat 42-yard line. Harrell keeps it, tries to get to the edge. Good pursuit. Gain tackling by that Lumberjack defense. They stop him after a yard gain, and Boonville's going to face 3rd down and 8 with 4 minutes to play in the football game.
Question now is, Bob, if you're Bo Embry, when do you start using your timeouts? Do you use one after this 3rd down play if you stop them? I think you do.
I think you do, too. Michael Toller Kendrick Newton and LaFoy Smith all gang tackled the quarterback, Cody Harrell, on the last play. Play clock
has got to get the play in.
Yep. Play clock is at 10. They hadn't even broken the huddle yet. It's at 8, it's 7. Here they come to the line of scrimmage. They may have to burn a timeout. They're not going to get this off. And now then they call a timeout with 1 second on the play clock.
Wow.
Let's check back in on the sideline with RJ, another Farm Bureau Insurance and Cersei sideline report.
You know, I was sitting down here and talking with Steve Sullivan. We both kind of were talking about that onside kick again, and Steve was under the impression that, you know, you can take that chance with 4:45 left, and I guess just difference of opinion. I thought it might be a little bit early, but boy, not enough's been said about this defense. This defense for Warren, you know, I think after the first quarter they got the nerves out, and they have really adjusted well, and they're flying to the football and stopping the run.
RJ, I think one of the unusual things about that kickoff was they kicked it to the short side of the field. They only had about 2 or 3 guys over there, so not really much of a chance to cover the football, and it sailed out of bounds and gave Boonville.
Well, they just kicked it too hard, Bob.
Yeah, kicked it way too hard, and Boonville let it go, and it went out of bounds.
Wilson Sporting Goods is the oldest Arkansas Activities Association corporate sponsor. Wilson is the official ball sponsor of the AAA.
So a big down defensively for the Warren Lumberjacks. They've been outplayed for most of this football game tonight, but they're in it. They battle back from a 14-0 deficit. It's 14-12. 3 minutes, 26 seconds to play in the football game. 3rd and 8, Boonville out at their own 44-yard line. Play action fake. Harrell looking to throw. He got a man out there, and he caught it inside the 35 at the 33-yard line. What a gutsy call, and what a catch by Damon May.
That is a game-changing play right there, Bob. Wow. He hides the football behind his back and then throws it, and 1 foot inbounds. The next one steps out of bounds. That's all you need, and it's a first down for Boonville.
Hey, and Darvion Brown had great coverage on Damon May, but it was a perfect pass.
It was.
May knew where the sideline was. He got his foot in bounds, and it's a huge throw and catch and a first down at the Warren 33-yard line. Handoff left side. That's May inside the 30. Got to the 28-yard line. He picked up 5 on the play. The clock runs. 3:10, 3:09 to play in the ball game. Boonville clinging to a 14-12 lead.
Bo Emery still hadn't used a timeout yet. He's got 3 in his pocket. Boonville's out of timeouts. I bet if they stop him here, he uses one.
2nd down and 5, Boonville. Line of scrimmage down at the 27-yard line of the Lumberjacks. Harrell letting all the seconds he can run off the clock. He snaps it with 2 on the play clock. And who do they go to? They go to big Justin Shackelford, the tough inside runner, and he's got another Boonville first down at the 19-yard line.
That's tough inside running there, Bob.
5 carries for 39 yards for Shackelford. Anytime they've needed tough inside running, he's been the man that they've gone to in a clutch situation, and he's delivered on every carry tonight. And Warren's going to have...
They've got to call timeout here.
Yep, they got to burn their first time out with 2:33 to play in the ball game, 14-12.
Image One is the official supplier of the Arkansas Activities Association. Check out their logo T-shirts, golf shirts, caps, and much more. You can purchase your official state championship gear today, during, and after each game.
Well, Warren battled back, Trey. They trailed 14-0. They score, and they miss the extra point. Well, then they score again, and they have a low snap on the 2-point conversion. It caused quarterback Drake Jones to have to keep the football. They tackled him at the 1, so 2 misfires on extra point attempts has caused Warren to trail 14-12.
Yeah, Warren's, Bob, they kind of shot themselves in the foot. I mean, they could be leading this football game right now.
Well, what Warren needs now is they need to try to strip the football. They need a turnover. They've only got 2 timeouts remaining. Boonville's got it 1st and 10 at the Warren 19-yard line. They hand it left side. Big hit down at the 17-yard line. That handoff went to Bryson May, and he was stood up and popped hard, but he held the football. And quickly, Bo Emery calls his 2nd timeout, stopping the clock with 2:26 to play in the ball game.
Coca-Cola proudly supports high school athletics and the Arkansas Activities Association. Coca-Cola is refreshing your team spirit.
So Scott Hyatt will call his offensive unit over to the sideline, and you got to believe that he's saying, hey, guys, if we can pick up a first down, we can run out this clock, win a state title, but more importantly, you got to hold on to the football.
Yes. You have to put two arms around it, Bob, and don't try and do anything fancy. Don't worry about your balance. Just wrap the football up, and when they hit you, go to the turf.
Let's check in again on the sideline with RJ for a Farm Bureau Insurance and Searcy sideline report.
Guys, this is the area once again where this defense for Warren, they've really twice tonight have stepped up big and not allowed for Boonville to score, and they've done a real good job inside the red zone, really limiting Boonville on the run.
So Warren trailing 14-12 with 2:26 to play in the ball game. They've only got one timeout remaining now. Second down and 8, Boonville. Up under center, Cody Harrell calls the signal, hands it to May. May stacked up, thrown for a loss back at the 18-yard line. And now then Bo Emery's going to burn his final timeout.
Well, you got to there because now you've got 3rd and 10. You stop them here, Bob, and then they can let the clock run down before they have to decide whether or not to attempt a field goal or run a play. It's if you get a defensive stand right here on 3rd and 9, Bob, you're going to get the ball back with probably in the neighborhood of a minute 45 seconds, maybe a minute 50.
Be less than that, wouldn't it?
Well, once you run the play, they spot it. So I'm thinking, around a minute 40.
Yep. They're going to go for it on 4th down, though, so they'll run another play.
If they go for it. But if the play, if they don't get the first down, the clock's going to stop immediately.
Right. Well, the Boonville Bearcat band on the far side whooping it up. Their fans, not a one of them is left over there in the east sideline. They're facing 3rd down and 9 at the 18-yard line. 2:21 to play. Boonville leading 14-12. They go with a hard count.
Well, that's okay.
Yep.
They went with a hard count, and that's fine.
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
The only problem is you give them 5 easy yards there, so now they only have to go 4 to pick up the first down. That's the problem.
Yep, and you got 2 downs to do it. So a big mistake defensively by somebody up front that jumped into the neutral zone for Warren, and a free 5 for Boonville. That moves the ball inside the Warren 14-yard line. 3rd down and 4. 3 back, set in the backfield. They hand it near side. They got the first down inside the 5, driving to the 3, but hold everything. There's a penalty in the offensive backfield.
I think it's going to be on Boonville.
Yeah, it looked like somebody in that backfield moved for Boonville.
The only problem is the play, you take off the time.
So it is going to be a motion penalty against Boonville, but like you said, it took 9 seconds off the clock.
Motion against the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
So the penalty will move it back just outside the 18-yard line. 2:14 to play in the football game. 14-12.
The clock should not wind, though, Bob.
Nope. Umpire steps in, wipes off the football. Well, they do wind the clock.
Oh, no, they can't wind the clock. And now Bo Embry's getting a flag, but he's right. He's exactly right. They cannot wind the clock.
RJ's down there on the sideline. Let's check in with him and see what he saw down there. RJ?
Bo Embry has every right to be mad right now because he came out. You know, it was actually the shortest distance he's been on the field all night. He gets a flag for it, but he was basically just running over to tell the side official not to let the clock run, and they ran 6 seconds off of the clock. I mean, this is bad. This is the worst officiating in a state championship game I've ever seen.
Well, that is going to be a huge call. They've already had a sideline warning, haven't they, tonight?
Yeah.
We've got a sideline warning. That's the second one on the Warren bench. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. It will still be third down.
But the problem is they're running the clock.
Well, the penalty will move it back to the 9-yard line.
Because the play before, they called a timeout. Even though you run a play, if there's a penalty, that negates the play, Bob. You should not be able to run the clock, I don't believe.
Well, they wind it once again, and Boonville wisely, they're just going to stay in the huddle. The game clock at 1:53, the play clock at 10. Cody Harrell leads his team to the line of scrimmage. He snaps it with 2 on the play clock. They get to the 11-yard line. That's going to be about 2.5 yards shy of a first down, so it's going to bring up 4th down and short for Boonville. Game clock at 1:30. Warren cannot stop the clock. Warren trailing 14-12. It all boils down to this. If Boonville can pick up a first down, they're going to win a state title. If Warren can stop them, they're going to have one last opportunity with about a minute to play in the football game. They hand it straight ahead. Submarine tackle. He didn't get it. They tackle him just shy of the 10-yard line. He needed the 9, and the Warren defense has held on 4th and 2.
A minute and 7 seconds left to go. They're going to have to go 90 yards, Bob. And if they can drive 90 yards, get in the end zone, they'll win the football game, the Warren Lumberjacks. If they can drive down and kick a field goal, they can win the football game.
What a job defensively by Warren by submarining Bryson May, the junior tailback. They took his legs out from under him. They stopped him a yard shy. And here comes Warren. They got one last opportunity. Drake Jones looking to throw. Comes to the sideline, and it's incomplete. He tried to find Vonerick Gonder out here about the 23-yard line. The ball was underthrown, and it stops the clock with 1:03 to play in the ball game.
And that's Warren's tried that route several times tonight, and Boonville Bob's almost jumped it several times. I think it's time for the double move again. Maybe that's what Bo Embry told his receivers over here.
Warren out of timeouts. They need to march at 89 yards in the last 1:03. Drake Jones, pump fake, taking a shot deep down the field, and it's incomplete out near midfield. A lot of contact out there, man-to-man coverage on Darvian Brown by the safety, Cody Harrell, and the ball was overthrown. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 10.
Now you need to worry about picking up some yards that you think you can get in a manageable. If you don't want to throw an incomplete pass here, Bob. You need to at least get something positive because you're in 4-down territory.
Yeah, and you're in a position where you really can't afford to run the football. You don't have any timeouts left. You got to work the sidelines. You got to pick up first downs. One back in the backfield. That's Cox. Drake Jones looking to throw under pressure. Got a man complete out at the 30-yard line. That's a first down. They're going to stop the clock at the 30-yard line. 49 seconds to play in the ball game. 14-12, Boonville leads.
You clock it here?
Well, you got to get to the line of scrimmage. I'd run a play and snap it quick. They wind the clock. 49, 48. Here comes Drake Jones. Come to the sideline, and it's caught and out of bounds out at the 43-yard line. Nice catch by Brown. Stayed on his feet, scooted to the sideline to stop the clock with 41 seconds to play in the ball game.
It's taken 4 hours and 30 minutes, but we've got fireworks.
Warren doesn't have to have a touchdown. They just need a field goal to win this football game on first down. Drake Jones complete. Well, now he dropped it. Gonder tried to corral the football and turn upfield, dropped it out at the midfield stripe.
Yeah, Von Eric Gonder that time, 6 foot, 195-pound senior, just Bob took his eyes off the football. You got to catch it first in this situation.
He's been their leading receiver on the night, 6 catches for 105 yards. Clock stopped, 38 seconds to play in the football game. Warren out of timeouts. 2 wide out, split to either side. Play action fake. Drake Jones down the center of the field and into double coverage and batted away. And now we got a penalty marker at the end of the play. It's going to be a pass interference call against Josh Smith as he was battling in the secondary with Von Eric Gonder.
Bo Embry's been all over this line judge all night long, and he finally throws one that looks like it's going to go Warren's way, Bob.
So the penalty, though, will be marked off from the line of scrimmage. 15 yards.
Pass interference against the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. It's past the line to gain, so that'll be a first down.
So now the line of scrimmage is at the Boonville 41-yard line. 33 seconds to play in the football game. Drake Jones looking near sideline, and the ball is batted down. Gonder was open out here at the 35-yard line, was going to step out of bounds, but a great defensive play by Michael Springs, the linebacker on the near side tray that got a right hand up and batted the ball away.
Got a hand up and knocked the football away. You're exactly right, Bob.
So that stops the clock with 30 seconds to play in the football game.
The wind is picking up here, too. It's at Warren's back.
Jones looking to throw down the middle of the field, and it is caught but then broken up at the 25-yard line. The ball was in the hands of Khalil Thomas, and he took a big hit, couldn't hold the football. 25 seconds to play in the football game.
Well, 4-down territory, 25 seconds. Obviously need to get a play here, Bob, that can get you down the field and either out of bounds or down past the first down marker to where it'll stop the clock.
You'd like to get in a position where you could at least take a shot at the end zone.
That, and then have yourself to where you can at least attempt a field goal.
On third down, Jones steps up, and he's going to be sacked back at the 44-yard line. They're going to have to hurry to the line of scrimmage. They're out of timeouts. The play clock, or the game clock at 10. They may have time for one more play. 8, 7. They snap it with 6. Drake Jones looking to throw far side, and it is intercepted down at the 10-yard line by Boonville's Matt Berry, and the Bearcats are going to win a state title. The clock expires, and Boonville beats Warren 14-12. What an ending to this football game. Warren battles back, and on the last play of the football game, they had to take a shot deep downfield. Great coverage in the secondary, and Matt Berry intercepts it on the game's final play, and the Boonville Bearcats are state champions of Class 4A. Let's head down to RJ, who's got Scott Hyatt.
Coach, we went through 2 rain delays, a halftime, and it all came down in the last 40 seconds of the ball game. You got to be proud of your guys right now.
Man, both teams played a heck of a defensive ball game tonight, and yeah, I'm really proud of my kids, man. They just sucked it up, and we just, I guess, got lucky, I guess.
I talked to you after that first weather delay, and I said, how do you get your guys prepared? It seemed like every time after we came out of a delay, your guys looked like they just came off the field.
I don't know. This has been a special bunch all year, and I can't explain the whole year, but boy, it's been a heck of a year.
Offensively for you guys, you somewhat struggled between the 20s tonight, but really when it all mattered, your defense got the job done.
Hey, defense wins championships. A lot of these offensive coaches don't like to hear that, but defense wins championships, and they played hard tonight.
I asked you before the ball game what a championship would mean to Boonville, and
look right there, you can see all those people up there. That's what it means. Those people support us all year long, so it's great.
Hey, congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Well, the Boonville Bearcats in front of 5,169 faithful fans that fought through 2 lightning delays that totaled about 2 hours and 29 minutes tonight. Watch their Bearcats defeat Warren tonight 14-12. Cody Harrell, the quarterback of Boonville, has been voted the game's MVP. He rushed it 22 times tonight for 139 yards, only threw 5 times, completed 2, but Trey, the 2 that he completed were huge.
No, they were huge. Bob, the one on the far side over there with 1 foot in bounds, the receiver able to corral that one in. But the job he did managing the game, getting the runs when he needed to, running the football well when he needed to. Just an unbelievable effort by Cody Harrell tonight.
Well, the Boonville Bearcats have persevered here tonight. They led 14-0 at halftime. They saw Warren battle back. They scored 2 second-half touchdowns, but they were unable to convert on either extra point. And Boonville escapes tonight. They win their third state title in school history by defeating Warren 14-12.
I just hate that we had to wait 4 hours and 4 hours and 40 minutes to determine a champion, Bob. It was it was a good football game.
Yep.
You never thought that one team really, you thought early on that, okay, Boonville's going to take control because Warren was really out of sync offensively. And I think had the delay come earlier when we originally thought that the first delay was going to come, it could have been a different outcome because I think Bo Embry went in, they regrouped, they said, hey, let's go hurry up on these guys. And the first time they had the opportunity after coming out after that first delay, they did go hurry up.
Well, and the weather played such a factor in that first half. The driving rain, and Warren loves to throw the football around. They dropped 3 or 4 passes. It would have been big plays for them, picked up a couple of first downs, and they were unable to get anything going. They came out in the second half, and once the weather kind of cleared up, their offense got rolling, but it was just too little too late. They missed the first extra point, which forced them into going for 2 the second time they scored, and the low snap messed up the rhythm of the play. They didn't convert, and Boonville wins tonight 14-12. We need to take a break. We'll be back to wrap it up, give you some final statistics, and set it up for the Class 2A championship game here at the stadium tomorrow at noon. You're listening to the 4A championship game driven by Fletcher Kia along the Buzz Radio Network. Back to War Memorial Stadium, where Boonville has knocked off Warren tonight 14-12 in the 4A championship game. All of Boonville's scoring came in the first half. With 5 minutes to play in the first quarter, Bryson May scored from 3 yards out. The extra point was good. They led 7-0. Then with 7:44 to play before halftime, Bryson May once again scored on a 5-yard touchdown run. Joshua Smith's kick made it a 14-0 ball game, and we had 2 hours and 25 minutes of rain delays on a couple different occasions. We finally got the third quarter back underway, and with the 2:22 mark in the third quarter, Calais Cox scored from 5 yards out. Cortez missed the extra point. It made it a 14-6 ball game. And then with 4:47 to play in the football game, once again Cox, a 21-yard touchdown run. The 2-point conversion failed. It was a 14-12 ball game. Warren's defense held late in the ball game. They had to drive it about 90 yards to try to take the lead. And on 3rd and long, as the clock expired, the Bearcats intercept a pass. Matt Berry came away with the interception down around the 10-yard line, and Boonville wins their third state title in school history tonight, 14-12 over the Warren Lumberjacks. Trey Shapp, any final comments tonight?
Well, I think it was a game of perseverance. Bob, which team could handle the distractions, the delays the best? It seemed like Warren always came out with a little more fire and get up after the lightning delays. But Boonville makes a play late in the game, sacking the quarterback. I mean, that was a huge sack on Warren's quarterback Drake Jones, and then he kind of forces the issue. And his receivers, after they had run down the field on that play and he gets sacked, they kind of nonchalantly walk back to the line of scrimmage. Look, when you don't have any timeouts left and the clock's running, you gotta play with a little bit of panic, and they didn't do that. And so I think if they could have gotten back to the line and set up a little bit sooner, then maybe that pass to the edge over there, maybe the receiver is there to catch it instead of the ball being picked off by Boonville.
Well, Cody Harrell named the game's MVP tonight. He accounted for 179 yards of total offense. 139 of those yards came rushing the football tonight. And once again, Boonville has defeated Warren in a game that took over 4 hours to complete with the weather delays here tonight. And they beat Warren 14-12. We'll be back on the air tomorrow at 11:45 right here at War Memorial Stadium, the 2A championship game between Junction City and Des Arc, and then tomorrow night the 3A championship at 6:30, Glen Rose and Charleston. For my broadcast partners Trey Shapp and R.J. Hawk, Bob White saying hope you have a great rest of the night. We'll see you back at War Memorial Stadium tomorrow at 11:45. You've been listening to the 4A championship game driven by Fletcher Kia along the Buzz Radio Network.